Yes, people, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Welcome back to the Blue Morning Show. Welcome back to another match review on Chelsea Perspective. I hope you're all doing well, and I really do mean that. Again, once more, welcome, but more importantly, Blue Morning to you. Let's get into the show. I hope you're all doing well. As usual, it is, an interactive show. We'll keep it interactive. Yeah, it's about the panelists. It's about those in the chat. Everybody provides a value in equal measure. So thank you. We did hit 8,000 subscribers yesterday during the watch along show. Right now, let me just quickly update you on that because you deserve to know. Sorry, it looks like my update screen is frozen. Right now, we're at 8,000 and 19. So 19 more after that yesterday. So thank you again once more. Sorry about the cough. My throat still itches, not fully healed. So let's get into the show and look at what we have immediately in the chat. Quite a lot already. It's going to be a busy day, I know. But unfortunately, it's going to be a short one too. Love, yeah, again, Udochi Mbano, love to you too. I hope you're doing well. Blue Morning Kachila panel in chat says Liam Lane, the captain of the house. Thank you for saying that. Yes, guys, please, as you're getting here, make sure to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The likes do go a long way for the channel. So, yeah, thank you so much for that. Evening, morning again. Yeah, limitless. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Big up Kachila and people in the chat. Please like and subscribe again, as always, like and subscribe. How many likes do we have already? We have 11 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's 19 likes. Let's get it up. Let's get it up. Yes, thank you so much, people. I appreciate that. What else do we have? I'm very sad again. Board backing, board is backing Potter. They're gonna say that we don't know what they're thinking because it's not. Listen, it is bad, but it's not. It hasn't gone to. It hasn't gotten to a point where you could say it's entirely his fault. They'll, they'll be watching him. They'll be telling him, "Well, excuse me, where would you?" Because they don't want it to get worse. Because if they don't say that, it's gonna get worse. But usually, when you start, excuse me, guys, once you start hearing that from the board, it's not a good sign, really. So I'm gonna move on from that. I hope he does well. Just saying hello to you guys. Okay, let me see. Can Chelsea should sack this man called Potter? I don't think it's that simple, really. Every next game is a said if you lose it because on paper it's a game you'd say we're winning. We're gonna win that one. This one says again. They say nothing good will come from his this 47-year-old man. I me again. Me Joseph said that nothing more than bitterness. Okay, let's see what do we have here. When this again a stream start? I'm not sure I understand that question. I said again, it's yesterday. I said it yesterday that as long as Aspi is in that game, that Chelsea will lose the game. And if the coach brings in Jorginho, it will get worse. And it happened. Okay, if that's how you say it, to me, yeah, there's a lot more to what happened yesterday than what you explained. All good again. Okay, just yeah, we're all disappointed. It's not easy to deal with really because we all love our club. Big up everyone. Yes, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're how many likes already? 23 likes, but we should be doing better than that. Push it up, people. Still more games to play and lose. Yeah, that's enthusiastic, isn't it? Chelsea's problem is more than a Nigerian problem. Potter can never change anything. Bring big coach to do the job. Again, I'm not saying Potter is not going to do well because he isn't a big coach. Because the truth is, there's a first to everything. All I'm going to say now. There's more to what is going on than what we know. And this was my brother Zvoy from Zvoy's YouTube channel, Matt. You have to go check out his YouTube channel. And again, Matt, please do share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. Chelsea Blue coach, Coach, morning to you too, brother. This is what we have to watch for the rest of the season, most likely. But again, here's the thing. it's not gonna get that bad that they're gonna decide to sack him within the season before the season ends. He's gonna do relatively well. That they're gonna see, okay, well, maybe he can change it. Let's just give him to the end of the season. So yeah, it's gonna be a long season. So yeah, buckle up, or again, tighten your seatbelt, whatever you want to do. Klopp is trolling us. Did you see what did what did you do? Again, I don't. It breaks the heart, really. Kishan says, Kishan, how are you doing? He says, hopefully Potter is smart enough to bench Havertz and Mount next game. Okay. How about if really the issue is the tactics, not tactic, not the players on the pitch. Tuchel, we want to build a team that nobody wants to play against. Potter will build a team that yeah, you can come mop the floor with. We move on from that. The bound is behind Potter again. Yeah, to destroy Chelsea. Is that how you say it? I don't think so. It's business. If they fire him now, they have so much to lose, and there's a chance firing him isn't the solution. We don't know. If you ask a lot of people, they tell you, yeah, let him go. This is the time you let him go. But let's see what happens. Is it Ish H says no, we should not sack Potter. We need to get rid of the players. They are the problem. Entirely the players' problem. Is that what you're saying? Smith David says, I don't think I will I don't think I will forever forgive this man called Potter. This man has only brought nothing but sadness. It has again. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. I have lost a huge amount of money yesterday. Yeah, why did you trust them? Even as poorly as we've been playing, why did you trust them to bet such an amount of money? And I'm not going to talk about that so we don't get into trouble there. Hi everyone. As long as Mount Havertz, Kobo, and J5 are our main starters, we will never go anywhere. Okay, if that's what you think, please. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and I'll try the best I can to get your subsequent comments. But by the way, again, big up to my bro, Mikhail. I hope you're doing well, brother. Thanks. Nice to see you here. Thanks so much for finding the time to join the show. Porter will be like, had I known, I would have remained at Brighton than facing this huge attention from Chelsea fans. Okay, it is like that everywhere from at Brighton. But that's by the way, I'm going to come to you. Let me see. Is there anything else to read here? Okay, I'm always there. I'm almost there. Big up the CFC Undertaker. I hope you're doing well, brother. Thanks so much for joining the show. If the players are so bad in this team as the fans keep saying, then surely Potter sees that too. Then why is he not playing the excellent young players we paid big money for? Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sort of sense if we're being honest here. Potter took over a sinking ship, and his career is sinking with it. Well, does it look like he's doing enough not to even try, not to let? Does it look like he's tried enough not to let the ship shake? No, it doesn't. It doesn't look like that. Yes, the players are the problem. If we sack Potter and bring in a new manager, and the players don't like what he says, that would down the tools. I'm not sure. Again, I'm a bit confused. Coach Chucky looked good when he came on and created about 2 chances. Who? Okay, Chukwuemeka, you mean? Good morning to you too, Chinedu Abiagam. What do we have here? I need to be careful the way I wake these days. The reason why I said so because Chelsea might decide to sign me next. Hearing far too much nonsense, Potter. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Thank you so much. Anything else? I'm gonna stop here now. Trying to get your subsequent comments, and I'm saying it's Kami. Nice to see you. It's Kami again. I hope you're doing well. Wally Waldo, I hope you're doing well. I hope everyone else is doing well in the chat. I'm gonna go straight to the panel, and I'm gonna start with Bobby right away. But please keep liking the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Bobby, I know you've calmed down a bit. Let me see if you've changed your tone in terms of what you saw and what we were all saying yesterday. I was very pissed myself. But your thoughts, Bobby, do you see things differently now, or is it still the same for you? Good afternoon, by the way.
Hi, Coach. Hi, guys. Hey, DJ. Listen, I don't know if it's a matter of seeing things differently. I personally think it's a matter of seeing things as they are. and this is very much
And facts don't
a
change.
complex, yeah, and this is very much a complex situation.
Hmm.
Um, this is the legacy of a Marina Granovskaya led Abramovich board towards the end. The truth and the reality of it is that no matter whatever smoke screens and mirage of pretensions people tried to paper over her reign, she was very, very much in control, and she was very, very much a sporting director, and very, very much in charge of a lot of the Duff purchases. And this is where we find ourselves now. Is it entirely that blame? No, but that forms the foundation, the rotten foundation with which these people had to have to build on. Now, was it all bad? Of course not. There were some snippets of good things. We had some exceptional players in the likes of Kante, which she didn't bring in, by the way, and in the likes of Reece James through the academy. Yet again, she didn't bring in, and so on. And these people helped, people like James and Kante in particular. They helped, and Rudiger, they helped paper over the cracks of Chelsea after we had that fantastic Champions League success. But what happened was that we failed to build on that success. We failed to reinforce the midfield. We failed to reinforce the defense. We failed to reinforce the forward line, or at least allow there to be the opportunity to reinforce the forward line. Then the government also played a role in the situation Chelsea's in. This whole war and sanctions and all the things that the club had to go through in order to sell. And it was a hurried sale, it was a fire sale. And, we are where we are partly because of it. The new owners couldn't buy the club like, normal buyers would, take time, do the well, they have to have due diligence anyway, but take their time, set up their plans and everything. It all had to be hurried, and by the time they bought the club, as I've said before, the ink hadn't dried on the contract, and the transfer window was upon us. Now, they couldn't do nothing in the transfer window. Our defense was deplenished. We had lost two key defenders. We had lost four, if you include Zuma. I mean, three, if you include Zuma. We had to do deals to replace people like Alonso, who was coming to his end. There was a threat of losing Aspilicueta as well. There were so many things had to be amended in that summer, that one summer that they started behind everybody else. And they themselves hadn't had their structure in place because they'd just got the club. So Mr. Bowley had to step forward and do what he could in the short space of time. The only advantage Chelsea had at that point was that they were they had the financial capability. Then their mistake. Any of the purchases, I won't call them a mistake because I think they had to do something. I will call those that didn't work out or those that aren't working out collateral damage. The mistake is in the sacking of the former manager. That's their mistake that they have to own. They made an almighty change, whether it was a planned change, whether it was for non footballing reasons. I just think it was a crazy move, a move that was symptomatic of people that are still learning about English football, learning about European football, learning about football, full stop. They brought in somebody that they felt was going to be successful in line with their project. And maybe they were right. I think they were wrong, personally. I think it was premeditated. I think they could have held on to Potter, even if to Tuchel, even if they didn't like how he was performing, but they could have continued with their investment put in the likes of Vival and Winstanley and so on, and then go for a manager that would suit the project and suit the new sporting director's team. As it is, they put the cart before the horse. And what has now compounded the situation is that we have a manager who is technically and tactically suspect. And on top of that, he doesn't have pedigree. And on top of that, not having pedigree and coming to a club like Chelsea already in the dressing room puts you on the back foot. And with all those immediate challenges, he then gets hit by major injuries. Injuries to key players that any club having these problems would struggle. Any club, I don't care who you are, even Man City, they may struggle to a lesser degree because they have that strong quality, strength in depth. But when you lose an entire team, like 10, 11, 12 players to injury, it's a big blow. And what this has done is that it has exposed the remaining players. It's exposed their deficiencies, right from the goalkeeper to the defense to the midfield to the attack. The entire team, as it stands, needs a complete overhaul. If a player, although he was highly motivated, can arrive on a plane 48 hours before a game and come out and play better than any of the incumbent players, to me, it's a big problem. Now, people talk about, oh, blaming the players, blaming the players. I don't particularly blame, per se, the players, but I point out their deficiencies. Uh, Key players at the moment, Mason Mount. People are saying he hasn't been on form all season. I'm saying this is Mason Mount. What we've seen is the real Mason Mount. He can't carry the team. We're expecting him to be this player that can carry the team, to be this marvelous talent that's able to do things like primetime Messi almost. He's not that guy. He's a guy that feeds off excellent players around him, does things to help it along, does things sometimes to help things finish off. He's always had deficiencies, even with excellent players around him. His finishing was always a problem. His link-up play was always a problem. His greatest strength and why managers relied so much on him was he was a hustler. He would close down in the last third of the pitch, putting the opposition defense under pressure. That was valuable when you have your Kantes behind you, when you have other players in the team that can make it work for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
he's not alone. He's not alone. Kai Havertz. Havertz is inconsistent. He's an excellent player, but he shows
Yeah.
his brilliance
Hey, so
in bits.
let's take it one by one because we're gonna look at their numbers as we talk about them. But go ahead.
Yeah,
Your
I'm just giving an overall, then
yeah. Okay.
a
Okay.
very brief overall.
Mm-hmm.
He shows his ability in bits, but he's always been inconsistent. So there's nothing new. These are players in development. Havertz, Mount, and it's showing. Ziyech, one of our best playmakers, but physically inept. And so now we're left with shall I say, the bottom of the barrel players, and they're all coming forward to have to carry this team with a defective coach. That is a recipe for the problems we have now. At this current point in time, Chelsea are playing like a bottom half team, a team that would potentially struggle against relegation. The form is that poor. Fulham last night are a poor team. They're a weak team. The fact that even in our deficiency, we created so many chances which we couldn't finish against them is testimony to the standard of team that Chelsea lost to last night. What can be done about it? Well, the injuries aren't coming back soon. The one person that was coming to make the play for Chelsea, well, he's missing 3 massive games: Palace, Fulham again at home, and Liverpool. I don't even want to think about it. The only thing that can be done now is revert to a type. Nobody even knows what Potter's trying to do. The only thing I can see for sure Potter wants to do is to play out from the back, which doesn't always work because the team has no midfield to help you play out from the back. You can't play out. So the defenders keep playing back to the goalkeeper, who himself, I have to say, is suspect. I think going forward, the thing to do is quite simply this. The project starts now, full stop. Kepa, he hasn't done that much wrong, but he's not really that great a goalkeeper. Is it time to start Slonina? The unfortunate thing is that only the coach has the privilege to see him fully in training to be able to answer that question. He was brought in because he was supposed to get the best out of average players or the best out of young players. Well, I don't know what he's done to Chalobah, but he's sent Chalobah backwards. I haven't really seen this. I cannot hand on heart say, oh, Potter's really made this player better. I don't know who he's done that to. Please, someone correct me when your time to speak comes. But I don't know who he's done that to. So what do? We go defensive. We go anti-football. We frustrate anybody we play against. We make ourselves so difficult and so uncomfortable to play against that people would just get frustrated and see if we can nick a goal. That is how we have to put out this team until the injuries start to come back. I can't see any other way forward. If we can't beat Fulham, how do you expect to beat Palace? That's a better team than Fulham. If you can't beat Fulham away, how do you expect to beat them at home when you've lost the impetus you've had? And forget Liverpool. I'm not even going to talk about that because that's just a lamb waiting to go to the slaughter. The only way is defense and then fast break. We have to play anti-football. We have to play like the relegation type team we are at the moment.
All right, let me get what we have in the chat. Thank you for that. Again, I'm going to come back to the panel because DJ has been waiting. DJ, I hope you don't mind. It won't take too long. I will skip quite a few. Wally Waters said that red card yesterday for Felix wasn't a red, in my opinion. I've seen worse fouls given for yellow cards rather than red. Yeah, again, he caught the guy. He caught the guy on the shin, but there was no point rolling around about 20 to 30. Here's the thing. The rule says if you're showing your start and if your leg is again off the ground and it touched him, and that's it. Again, we knew again when that happened. Again, I think it was Bobby that was saying that's a red, and there was an argument, but we knew immediately, given the rule, it was going to be a red. For me, in the first place, I know he did quite well. He shouldn't have started, even if even if he came on, let's say after the second half started, like when the second half started, he would have been better off because there's pressure for him to perform. He needed time to train with his teammate or be on the bench a bit, just for that the pressure to subside a bit. Whether you like it or not, I know he's a good player. There's pressure for him to perform to measure the value of what we're paying for him. But that's what. By the way, I move on from that. This year for Liam Lane says, enlighten me as to what people see in our 7 losses from Potter, that they just back him no matter what. Again, it's just blind faith, in my opinion. Yes, again, I'm going to say this. I have a lot of questions over Graham Potter. As much as I'm not going to start yelling Potter out, Potter, I have a lot of questions. Again, you could say from how I feel, yeah, my feelings are no different from saying Potter out, really, because it's dangerous. You should go listen to, what's his name, Unit Stock Football talk about him. I think if you're being honest, these players, they're not playing for him. I said that yesterday. I took my time again to go watch that game again, watch one back, or again, watch other game back again. They're not playing for him, really. It doesn't look like they trust him, and that's an issue. Because when you feel like the person that's giving you instructions don't know what they're doing, you don't listen. You don't listen. You do what you want. Again, whether subconsciously or not, or by design, you do what you feel is right, and not what they're telling you to do. It's dangerous because they're not playing for him right now. I don't know how he sees it, but from what I'm seeing, he's not playing. They're not playing for him. Plus, remember he called a meeting again a day before the game yesterday, which shows he's sensing something is wrong. And he called a meeting with the senior players, not the whole team. That alone, you could say it can cause again. It can cause issues in the dressing room. I don't know how else to phrase this. Yeah, it's everything we see is more than just the players. But I get it. The players also, and they're not playing. It wasn't. I know some people say, yeah, it was feisty. It still looked like a London derby. No, it was towards the end of the game. Maybe if that's even if that's even enough to say, okay, we played like we're playing in a London derby. I'm just again confused and broken. I couldn't sleep. If you're watching, if you haven't taken a second, drop a like on the stream. We have 33 likes, but we should be doing better than that. Gone 6 months and still okay, yeah. I'm not gonna get into that right now. Chelsea can lose as how many games they want right now, but they should not relegate. No, we're not gonna get relegated, but you still have to be concerned. Again, more importantly, if we don't make it into top four, it will be so difficult to get into there next year because all those people that are there, they have the money to reinforce and again and hold down again that fourth place or whatever position they found themselves within that top four area. We shouldn't be losing to Fulham. That's it. That has always been my argument. No matter how bad of a squad we have, we should be doing better than we're doing. That shows you something isn't quite right because Potter is capable of getting us to play better than we're playing right now. But that hasn't happened. So it shows you there's something again beyond the surface that we cannot see. We should just send Mount and Kai to again where Atletico Madrid and six again and sign Felix. I guess that's how you wanted to. Yeah, it's not easy really. I was told Potter is behind the sacking of Tuchel. He told the Chelsea owners to sack Tuchel for him to take over. Now see what is happening here. Oh yeah, that is just a conspiracy to me. I have to be honest. Kovacic had the worst game I've ever seen him before. That shows you something. Again, there's something we don't know that's going on. I hope they find a solution because I'm broken, really. I'm being honest. Mount again wouldn't lace a Carney Chukwuemeka's boots again. The form he is in yet played consistently for one example. Yeah, exactly. I get it. Porter made new history. Yeah, he broke new records, not in a good way. I agree with that, Liam. What else do we have here? We broke the British transfer record, then sacked the manager again 5 games in. That was not Marina. I'm trying to avoid something here, and I don't want that to happen. Hopefully, Potter will bench them. I hope he has the gut to do so because if you start playing the youngsters, I think they will give him a more spirited performance than we've seen from the older players. Havertz and Mount getting again. Everyone fired, shaking my head. Kante is the only one to cover Jorginho. Yeah, I get it in the midfield if that's how you see it. Quite a lot to catch up with here. Let me see Wally Waldo. We have strikers on the bench, and we ain't even starting them. It's a joke. And believe me, Fofana he would have been bullied that Fulham defense. But why he didn't bring him on, I don't know. Obesha says again, Porter's result is 95% correct. Thanks to him for creating new negative history at the club. We fans have nothing to say, and we will still again be waiting for positive results. I'm gonna come to you straight up again. I hope Porter gets kicked out. I don't think Porter has the you know what to drop. You know what to drop to drop any of these players like Mount and Kai. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. If anything, it looks like he trusts the older players or more experienced players even more, no matter how badly they perform on the pitch. DJ, your turn. Your observations from the game before we get into looking at the numbers, of the players individually. Go ahead.
Big up, hi Coachella, big up to Bobby as well and everyone in the comments. Hope you guys are all well.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on as
big
always,
up,
Coachella. It's a pleasure being on
brother.
your show.
Mhm.
Yeah, listen, mate. To be honest with you, everything Bobby's echoed out, I agree with 100%. I mean, the form we're playing at the moment I don't know where it's come from, what the situation is. I think everyone's got to realise that with Graham Potter, when Graham Potter was coming in, this was probably going to be the situation that we're in. Because I'll be honest with you, as much as I want to sometimes lay the fingers on Graham Potter, I have to also say that this is not his fault. He's been put into this position because the owners clearly saw him as the guy to take us forward from a manager that's been so successful with us, and bringing him in to obviously try and change another way of us going forward and how we play football now. I think we've all seen, how things have been since Potter's come in. It's not been the greatest for him. The injuries have clearly not helped. Yes, he keeps on picking the same plays week in, week out. But I know a lot of people have got this narrative towards Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. And I think, look, listen, I will say one thing. They haven't been playing well of late. I agree 100%. They haven't been. But for me, the football's about a team game. It's not just about individual players that you just have to pick on each time. And it seems week in, week out, the fans seem to be using Mason Mount and Kai Havertz as the excuse of why we're not getting where we should be getting. Yes, they're not been playing great. I agree 100%. Yes, they should probably be dropped in certain games, but the manager will not do that. But we can't keep blaming these two guys. They are. I really personally don't know what's happened. I mean, when they all went away for the World Cup, Potter had a month to work with the squad that he had, with the players that were left behind that didn't go to the World Cup. I thought by that time he would have had something in place to play these players. And what he went and basically done was he had a chance to work with that squad. The minute these players come back from World Cup, they get put back into the team straight away. Now, I don't know what's happened with Chukwuemeka. I thought this guy's been brilliant. I thought against Manchester City, in his first game he played when we lost the game 1-0, I thought he was one of our best players on the pitch. The next game he plays him, he drops him. Then brings him on as, his confidence is already sky high up. He drops him for some reason or another and goes back to the midfield, I think, of Jorginho coming into that midfield. Now I'm thinking to myself, what is he doing? Play plays that are in form. Clearly, Chukwuemeka was clearly in form from that game against Manchester City. His confidence was up. Okay, and you play this guy. You don't just you don't just drop him. And he's gone and done that. And again, he's going with this midfield of Jorginho, who's so slow in midfield. Listen, I again, a great servant at the club for what he's done, Jorginho. But I think we all know here on the panel, even people in the comments will realise the guy's slow in midfield. He's not the player that he was before when we first bought him. Zakaria has now got a bad injury, so we don't know what's going to happen to him now. And what I'm asking, the question I have to ask really is what is going on with our doctors behind the scenes? Because I don't think I have seen such a crippled injury list as we've got now. That you're literally more or less.
If we're objective, the doctor's job is to treat them when they
Correct.
get injured. If anything, we should be talking about the physios. But go ahead with what you're saying, brother.
Yeah. For me, I'm thinking to myself, what is going on with our doctors in the back? Because why have we got this many players out injured? Every time they be playing, they're getting an injury, they're out. I mean, you got to ask him what's going on behind the scenes because, I think our players being rushed back from injury. I think we've seen that with Reece James. He's come back. He got an injury. He's now out again until February. So you have to ask the questions of what's going on with our back, with our medical staff in the background because it is worrying times. And Bobby alluded onto something about relegation. Look, I don't know if Bobby probably would remember this. This reminds me of Coachella and Bobby. This reminds me of the days of Ian Porterfield, Bobby Campbell, John Hollins, going back to those days when Chelsea were almost getting relegated and just being a cup team.
Yeah,
that's exactly what this reminds me of the way we're playing at the moment. And if it doesn't change, and what I'll say to you guys right now, things are only going to get worse. Things are only going to get worse until something is done, and until these players start coming back and Potter starts to find a formula of playing the way he wants to play. Things are just only going to get worse for us.
Do you see that happening?
I do at this moment in time. Usually, I'm a confident Chelsea fan. You know how I am. I support them to the end. I go and watch their matches home. I can't obviously get to away games, so all their home matches I do get to. And seeing the way this team is crumbling, the only player that I can say yesterday that performed for me, and the guy's only in the country 48 hours. João Felix, what a play. This guy was literally doing everything in the game yesterday, and he's got players around him that are not even meeting his expectations. He's having shots. I think I've seen us. I think you looked at our stats yesterday. I think we've had more shots on goal than we've had before João Felix joined the football club. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Maybe people can have a look at that.
No, you're very, and it's down to how he was progressing the ball all the time. Never opt for the simple option of going back or going sideways. He's always progressive. He's always going forward, very direct. We haven't had that in a while, and shamefully, his performance has showed us how our team hasn't been coached properly, especially on the ground. Potter. He started 1-2 play with some players. It happened during the training ground. We saw the video on the training ground too. But during the match proper, it happened again. He'd do a 1-2 with some people and make a run intentional, with intent, between two defenders.
Yeah.
And created space for the person with the ball to pass it to him. And the person went right and a little bit backward, actually. That shows you it isn't down to the players. Our players ain't good enough, but they're not coached well, really.
Yeah.
No matter how you see it.
And I also think if you had, I mean, that I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the game when he had that beautiful skill set, he went past the player, crossed the ball in the box, and Kai Havertz had a weak shot. Now I'm thinking to myself, if that was like a Didier Drogba or a Diego Costa, that ball would be in the back of the net. There's no ifs or buts about it. That ball would probably be in the back of the net. Or if it was even Fofana coming off the bench, or even may I say Aubameyang, maybe that ball would have been in the back of the net. But it's just the way it's all going. We have got, you see, for me, look, I don't think Mount and Havertz are bad, and people are, and I keep saying to this, people have got to really stop picking on these two main players, because whether people like it or not, okay, they are Chelsea's mainstays in this squad, okay. They are these are the players that will, that these are the players that obviously Graham Potter believes in. I believe in these two players, but I just think that every time we lose a game or something badly goes happen, rather than the fans sometimes looking at the team, it's always these two individual players that are getting picked out, and it's always that every week. And I don't know if Bobby agrees with me on that, or if you guys agree with me on that. I don't know, but every time I keep seeing
here's what I want to say about that, DJ.
Go on, bro.
I'm just going to say it this way. I hate finger pointing. What I'm going to say is that, again, I've come to terms we don't have a good enough squad.
Fair point.
And after saying that, I still again say it clearly. We should be doing better.
Yeah,
and that's where the problem lies. And it's clear now. I'm saying this, and I'm saying it again with absolute boldness. These players, they're not playing for Potter. I know we have a community of injured players, if you want to phrase it that way, but we should be doing better with what we have already yesterday. That squad yesterday should be beaten Fulham 3-0 to 4-0, or at least 2-0.
Yeah, agreed.
But there's no again, it doesn't look as if we're playing a derby. They fought like they're playing a derby.
I think another reason why people single out Havertz and Mount a lot, and yes, indeed, it is the whole team. I mean, Cover had an absolute shocker yesterday.
Yeah, 100%.
And it exposed him, because he plays like that often, but he gets away with it because every now and then he does a dribbling cameo, which covers up all the multitude of sins he commits in midfield. The midfield clearly does need a complete overhaul. But why people pick Mount and Havertz a lot is that they are the most played players in the team. If you keep pushing people forward to play, you have to justify it. And when you have people like Carney Chukwuemeka on the bench, you have David Fofana, as coach said, on the bench, you start to wonder, well, why are you sticking with Havertz? Why are you sticking with Mount? Because
that's not on the manager, Bobby, though. Is that not on the manager then, Bobby? Why is he picking them then?
Definitely. 100% on the manager. I just think another problem that Potter has is, you see, Potter was in Brighton and the whole pace of everything was slower, less expectation, more time to do whatever. I don't think Potter knows these players. That's why he keeps going back to reputations. He plays reputations rather than the players, because he's not familiar with the players. And just as coach said, what on earth was he doing during the World Cup? Because he
Yeah.
had players to work with. A lot of the players playing now were around during that World Cup, apart from, one or two like Silva and so on. So what was he doing? The players don't look rehearsed in any way, shape, or form. They don't look trained in the team, and
Not
that's
at
where my
all.
concern is with him.
Not at all. And that's a very good observation from Liam Lane, actually, again, a few days ago. Because, DJ, I don't know if you understand what you guys call a primary school in the UK. If we're
Primary
playing
school.
did you see
Yeah.
no measure of coordination in our play?
No.
It just seemed as if we're so confused, nobody knows what to do, especially in the defensive line. Again, you could argue that has a bit of, again, a strong argument. It comes down to moving people around also. But again, the whole entire team, so much confusion. You'll be going on, what's going on here? I've said before, maybe he's being drastic about the whole, again, with the whole, again, him trying to implement the way he wants the team to approach the game. He's been too drastic about it. Maybe he needs to be a bit pragmatic, but I don't see that. I don't see any measure of pragmatism in his approach. Like Bobby said, if we're that bad, if everything comes down to the injuries, pack the balls. We have good enough players to hit the opponent on the break. This shouldn't be happening. Let people say, yes, we're packing the balls. Yeah, I agree. But we shouldn't be losing that many games. Look at the teams we're losing to. Again, to me, as much as if you look at him, I say yes. Again, he has, again, the whole lack of coaching thing, lack of coordination we see, and the way we take the ball backwards of 2-3 times in a game when we should be progressing quickly and somebody's making a run, that is something that should get him off his seat immediately. And do you know how Thomas Tuchel, how he is when such happens? Even though we play, again, a bit, again, in a reserved manner under his reign, he still hates it when we're supposed to be attacking. When somebody's making a run and you take the ball back, he jumps off his seat.
Yeah,
I just don't know where to go from that. Really,
no animation from Potter whatsoever, is there? I mean, he just sits there.
I don't care. I could care less. I don't care much about the animation. But sometimes some incidents on the pitch should get you off your seat. Like
100%.
again, the case where what's his name? Where again Felix started the 1-2, and he intentionally made the run between two players. He made the run and dragged the other player a little bit to the left so that there's space, and Mason Mount just went right and even backward a bit. And Kai Havertz the other day, we were actually counter-attacking. Aubameyang was making a run, and he turned around and passed the ball backward. And he didn't even stand up from his seat. I'm not saying he should be screaming like Conte does. No. But there are some stuff that should get you off your seat. And tell me how again, what's his name? Chalobah lasted the whole game. I just don't understand. We have Cucurella. You could say, okay, Cucurella come again, left center back. Again, what's his name? Come centrally, move someone else. Again, there's always ways to make adjustment and come again. Even if we say we don't have enough defenders, change it. We'll be better off with him leaving the pitch. How bad he played yesterday, and that's not enough for me to say actually he's a bad player. Something is just off. Nobody's playing with confidence. Look at our players. Kovacic the other day on two consecutive times, tried to pass somebody, to pass the ball with somebody who was making a run and hit the opposition player 2 times. Like just as if he was blindfolded, no confidence, nothing. But I'll let you go ahead with what you want to say, DJ. I think we should start looking at the players' numbers. And again, people, if you're watching, we have 49 likes. We should be doing better than that. We have 92 votes already on a poll that's just 26 minutes. So that shows we should have at least, 60, 70 likes. If you're watching, even if you're not participating in the chat, take a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Go ahead, DJ. Sorry for cutting you off.
I'm
listen, just really pissed, really.
No. So, I mean, listen, I get your frustration, Kuchid. I mean, I think we all at this moment in time. And listen, people in the comments, look, I know you're saying I'm not showing no emotions towards Kai or to Mason Mount. All I'm basically trying to point out is, yes, they haven't been playing well, but all I'm trying to say is it's not just them two. That when the whole team is not playing well, you can't just pick on those two particular players. I know they're being chosen to do what they should be doing, and they're not doing it as well. But but what I will say is it's a whole team game at the effort, and it's not like it's not like I mean, I guess yesterday for me, I mean, I thought, as I said it already, João Felix for me out of those three up front was probably the best player. He showed them to how things should be done and what to do and score goals before he got sent off. But look, listen, I get people have got their own opinions, and look, as I said, I'm not being it's not a point of just being emotional with those two players. I've just heard it every time these guys are playing. It's just that they always seem to get the ones picked out, and I guess it's down to Graham Potter to say to them both, look, you're not playing well. I'm going to drop you for these games and give others a chance. And that's a thing again that comes down to the manager to make that decision. If he's not going to make that decision, he's going to choose these players week in, week out. Then you have to then say to yourself, yeah, okay, what is the manager really doing? And as for Kepa, I mean, people are going on about how good Kepa is. He should have replaced Mendy in the goal time ago. I think you find yesterday for the second goal, I don't know what the guy was doing. He was in no man's land when the cross came into the box. He's coming for the ball and he's pulled back.
Yeah, for that goal, if you want us to talk about it, here's how I see it. But let me let you go ahead. When you drop, I'll talk about again why I think it was Chalobah's fault.
He was ball watching. I'm going to say he was ball watching.
So he's again, and if you look again, I think something is quite off with Chalobah right now. Yeah. Because the other one in the first half, I think he jumped even before the ball got to him. So as the ball got to him, he was already dropping and couldn't do anything about it. That's something even 6-7-year-old kids that play football know. You shouldn't jump before the ball gets to you. You should time it. But that mistiming is not something you shouldn't be seeing that on a professional stage, especially the Premier League. The second one, even again, he should get closer to the guy that scored the goal, unsettle him a bit. You don't have to push him. Even your body touching him will be enough to unsettle him. The slightest, you nudge him, could make him miss that. And probably there would be the argument that Kepa maybe misjudged it, thinking he was going to get it. But he was ball watching, and instead stretching his hands and had his hand on the guy's body. But he can't push him. Otherwise, if he did that, it would be a penalty. So I don't really blame Kepa for that goal, really.
I have to say, we had this discussion when we were doing your watch along, and I looked at it again. And yes, you're right. There is an element of blame to Chalobah as the defender. Chalobah is another player that had a stinker yesterday. It was awful. And you're right. He could have done more to put off the attacker. But I think the responsibility of that lies with Kepa. Your goalkeeper should be strong, confident, and come out and claim aerial balls. This is his weakness. He doesn't claim aerial balls. He can't. He's a bit deficient because of his size in doing that. And so he hesitates. He's not confident. He's not sure. And that hesitation creates a problem. It puts the defender in a dilemma. I better be careful here. I don't remember. Chalobah was on a yellow card. He couldn't do anything to maybe incite a penalty and definitely get a red card, which would have been a second red card. And he was in a dilemma himself. Why? Because the goalkeeper did not come out and claim confidently. Kepa is very much a big part of the problem. And I'm just praying and hoping that Slonina, who does have the physicality, who does seem to be confident, is somebody that we can start to try. Because, Kepa has done exceptionally well. He's better than Mendy. He's taken over from Mendy. But right now, that real goalkeeper, I mean, to be honest, when I looked at our goalkeeper and then looked at Leno, Fulham's goalkeeper, who isn't all that, I tell you which one I would have rather had, because Leno was showing more authority and making more saves than Kepa, for sure.
While I'm just with you, Bobby, let me ask you this quickly. While I'm still with you, overall, are you sensing the lack of confidence in our whole team? The only two players that played like they had confidence in them yesterday was Lewis Hall and what's his name and Felix.
Felix and of course Silva as always.
But again, you could say his position was off a bit. But again, did you sense that again? We don't have confidence.
Yeah, there is a lack of confidence. Most definitely, there is in the performances. But you see, there again, that's where the manager comes in. When you're struggling and you're down, and you're looking for inspiration, you're looking for grit, you're looking for fight. We look for symbols very much in life. We're very visual, especially when we're in battle. I mean, I'm not talking about real, blood battle.
No,
I'm
I
talking
understand
about
what you mean.
sporting
It's a
battle.
battle. It
Yeah,
was a London
yeah.
derby.
We're in sporting battle, and you look for leadership. And one of the things players often do is go and look at the bench. This is where the body language of your manager comes in. If he's up and he looks animated, angry, tense, pointing out, shouting directions, players are like, right, okay, what do I do? Well, okay, I go here, and you start to get that back. You start to get that confidence can be lost, but what you should never lose is fight. And if you have that fight, things start to work out and it brings back confidence. Now, we're not having the leadership. There's no leadership on the pitch where fight is concerned, and it's not even coming from the sidelines. I know, yesterday Roger was saying, oh, the cameras were showing Potter on the sidelines. I didn't really want to say anything because what he was doing on the sidelines was very lame, very lame. He would try and say something and then stop and he'll be staring. He looked like a rabbit in headlights. It wasn't encouraging at all. You compare that with someone like Tuchel, Conte, Mourinho, Ten Hag. Even look at Silva from Fulham. The difference.
Marco Silva, yeah.
Yeah, it was more solid, more encouraging, and there are huge question marks around him. Huge. We're still bringing in players. We haven't seen anything of the players that are coming in as such. Badia Shell, I suspect we'll probably see him against Palace because we have to be extra defensive in that game. But that leadership, I don't see it. Aspie was trying a bit later on in the game, to show a bit of fight and grit, but it just wasn't convincing. It wasn't enough. Nobody, yet again, I know people are going to say, oh, we're picking on him, but Mr. Mount, you're meant to be Mr. Chelsea. We love you. You're our academy product. I didn't see the fight.
Yeah.
Occasionally you'll have the ball in the last third. I didn't see the fight, and that's one thing you can't take away from Gallagher. Gallagher lacks technical ability. He lacks passing ability. But one thing you can't blame him for is fight. He will come in, he will hustle, he will harry, he will show fight. Lewis Hall, 18 years old, he had fight. The poor kid has never been on a winning side. He is carrying the team more than Mount. So before we start blaming ourselves for picking on Mount, let's look at Hall. That is a perfect example. I'm glad I remember that because that kid, you could say maybe he should have scored when he had the chance. But as far as I'm concerned, he was the only one on that pitch that looked like he was playing in a London derby. Now, if an 18-year-old kid can stick out like that, wow, that says a lot. That says a lot about the rest of the players.
Yeah, let me catch up with the chat. I'll come back again and I'll bring in AD to tell us again his observations, talk about his observations from that particular game. An awful one indeed. Again, it's not been a good start to the year for us, honestly here. If you're watching, if you haven't, we're just at 57 likes. I know we should be again at 100 plus likes now before paying attention to that. Even if you're watching and you're not part of the chart, please take a second to drop a like on the stream to help us reach 100 as soon as possible. We're at 57 now. We should be doing better than that. Leanne says, I am sick to death of listening to this again. Change all the players. Where did that? All the people think all this money is going. I don't want to read that. All this money is going to come from, and all we do is create another problem down the road. Again, Wally without shin pads, there would be a lot more broken legs. Yeah, that's the truth. Let me see what else we have here. Kepanis to go. In my opinion, has a 3-4 good games, then has shockers the next 3-4 games. Wow. I think Wally that again. I'm not sure if we're really paying attention. But yeah, I get it. That's your opinion, and I respect that. Really, it's 100% a red. Shame too, because he was our best player, and he showed us what's really missing in that team. A playmaker. We don't have one. Call whoever you want in that team. Say that person is a playmaker. I'll ask you. No, that's how a playmaker. That's what they do. They impact the play of the team. If anything, so the only person close to one plays in the defense for us. But João Felix showed us what we're missing. We need a player again who's that direct, who can also again once he's moving, other players around him will have no option that to just follow suit. But that's by the way. And yet again, Mount was top league, scored in most assists again. A hustler. Here's the thing, no matter how you see it, I think he's been in awful form of late, if we're being truthful. When Tuchel was losing games, fans were saying, sack him, and now they sacked him, and they are saying again, bring him back. Good luck bringing him back. It's too early to know if Potter has improved any players. Let's not even go to the angle of whether he's improved players or not. I really don't want to talk about that. If we're being honest, here's the thing. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and I'll try to get to subsequent contributions because there's the chart is on fire, really. Again, apologies because I'll skip quite a few. Zeno here. Zeno, welcome to the channel. If you haven't, please be sure to subscribe. We're at 58 likes, people. If you're a mod, please keep reminding people to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. The only players that will be able to play for Potter, he's not using them. Yep, the youth. They will respect him. They will eat the grass for him. They will do again whatever he asks them to do. But the big names that he's trusting, they're questioning his pedigree, and they don't trust him. So even when they're on the pitch, if he tells them to do A, they think like I think this man doesn't know what he's doing. I think I do C because C is the better solution. Yep. So that's the delicious comment of the day, by the way. It's funny to see how last season the mainstream narrative was that Tuchel is having the most injuries in the top six was no excuse in that. He held back our attackers, but now this season it's all on the players. I don't think it's all on the players. Do I think the players have been at their best? No. Do I think we have the best squad in the league? No. We don't have the worst either. We should be doing better. It's as simple as that. I have a lot of question marks over Graham Potter's ability again to get us to where we want to go. And if anything, if it's gonna work, he has to do an Arteta. He has to do away with all the big names. Get the younger players who hasn't won anything that would trust him. Yeah, and respect him. But now, you get where I'm going with that. If the players are not playing for the manager, then get rid of the players. No more player power. It's not that simple. You don't get rid of players without getting a reinforcement. You just worsen the situation if that's really what you want to do. I'm sure when Pep joined Man City, if you give him the opportunity, he'd get rid of the whole players at one point at the same time. But the process again, he approached it again. You could say systematically. With time, he phased them out. That's how you do it. If that makes any sort of sense to you. Again, it's as plain as the paint on the wall. Okay, as the paint on the wall, he has lost the dressing room, and it's a case of just how bad things get before someone adds another couple of losses, and we are in the relegation fight. Again, I still believe that's not going to happen, but I'm scared, if I'm being honest. Coach, at this point, I just want a draw, at least 1 point. Well, that's hilarious. But that's, by the way, please, I'm going to scroll past a lot of comments, get to the bottom, and I'll try to get your subsequent contributions. Coming to you, AD, Love for Blue. Just one quick question, AD, before you speak. Do you still love blue?
Hi, Coach. Hi,
panelists.
Hey, hi, Bobby. Hi, DJ. Hi.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Do you
I
still
still
love
love.
blue?
Oh yes, I still love blue. Yeah, I keep loving. I still love blue. Yeah, it won't change. I won't change. I won't change Eddie love for blue. I
No
won't change
matter
that.
what happens, no
No
matter
matter
what
what, I'm not
happens.
going to change. But
Yeah,
it's
Chelsea's
so painful.
yeah,
It's
yeah. It
very
is. It
painful to
is
watch.
indeed.
Yeah,
It
it's
is. So,
very
Eddie,
painful.
let me start you with this. Um, just start talking about again from the manager's perspective. If you think again, if you wouldn't think you should again, if you want to talk about the players too, if you feel like the part of the problem, of which I think again, partly the players, partly the manager, but your observations from the game.
See, the game started very well, did very well. I mean, I was so impressed with it, even though I didn't subscribe to the fact starting Felix in the first place. He shouldn't have started at all, whatever it is. He shouldn't have started. But I mean, the guy took it on, did very well, became about the best player on the pitch, was moving around what we lacked. Creativity was popping around, which was what the team has been lacking. But unfortunately, he got sent off that careless tackle. But at the same time, when a manager, you see, I was saying something, I don't know if you can remember, Coach, when before the game, the second game, I think, against Man City, and I was saying I'll be very angry if the manager decided to play Chalobah. Because you see, when you have a player, he's been with you for about a
Oh
month.
yeah, you did say something. Him playing him against yeah. Go ahead. I remember something like that.
It will be very bad if he plays him against Man City when the team's performance is dropping. Because when the player stayed with you, I mean, virtually people writing the charts and panelists and all, we must have played football one time or the other. We understand what it means to be a footballer. So if a player has been with you for a month and other players have gone away, Chukwuemeka has been around. Chukwuemeka didn't go for the World Cup. Chalobah didn't go for the World Cup. You should have been building the team around these players and putting your system around them. But what happened? These other players came back. Chalobah has been training with you for about a month. What did you do? You did not start him at all. You did not start him at all. You brought back Aspilicueta, who went to the World Cup ahead of Chalobah. I mean, how do you want to explain to that lad? And it wasn't as if his performance was bad. Under Tuchel, the performance of this guy went up, that we were even rating him very highly. And you brought back other players. That knocks confidence. Chukwuemeka did not play. Fofana that joined the club came on the pitch against Man City before Chukwuemeka. I mean, this is a guy that has been with us since the summer, and you've not played him properly. And it's not as if this guy can't play. Chukwuemeka always gives. I mean, there's nobody here that will say whenever this guy plays, you don't see something in him that deserves, that cannot warrant him to be starting or even coming on to impact the game. The game. But what do? You bring back the likes of Sterling, you bring back the likes of Pulisic, you bring back the likes of Mount ahead of this guy, and you want confidence to increase. He wouldn't. Football, it doesn't operate that way. You're killing their morale, you're killing their confidence. So if you keep doing that, and he brought Chalobah, and he didn't play Chalobah. Chalobah is a centre back, and the other lad, Humphrey, that came on. I don't know him I don't know the player, but I think he's a right back. You play Chalobah as a right back. Chalobah is better as a centre back. You played Humphreys as centre back, and you played Chalobah right back. That knocked confidence. And then look at yesterday. I know I can't hold anything back from Chalobah. Chalobah was woeful yesterday. Was so bad yesterday. But I mean, this is a gradual thing that knocks confidence.
Just 1 second, Eddie. This says again. Remember, the teams in the relegation places are used to that fight. If we get sucked into that, I don't think we're gonna make it out. It will be really bad. And usually we don't beat the teams in relegation battle. We struggle to fight that to play against them. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah. So, and then when we look at players, I don't know how long it takes a manager to implement his system. I don't know how long it takes a manager, because as far as I can remember, Tuchel came in 24 hours or less than 24 hours before we played Wolves, and we could see straight away. So if a manager could implement his system less than 24 hours before a game, he went to the basic. What did he do? Be solid, don't get beat. We played a nil. It was 0-0 on the night, and he built from there. So if a manager comes, injuries or no injuries, you should play to the strength of what you have. You can't go. I mean, it was a London derby yesterday. Even with our full squad, it was still going to be a London derby. It wasn't going to be easy. So we should have known, expected what Fulham was going to come out with. So for us to be solid, instead what he did do, Kovacic was woeful yesterday. Unfortunately, Zakaria got injured, and that might be the end. He might not even get to stay with Chelsea anymore because his injury record is not going to allow that to stay. So playing players like that and a manager not showing any passion, no animation at the touchline, nothing to show players. Even Silva was winning, he was still showing more movement touchline, trying to correct his players. I mean, this robs off the players on the pitch. If you say a manager is not giving, I heard you saying when Tuchel sees anybody passing back or doing that, he gets angry. It gives out to them. That's what a manager should be doing. You can't just stand there and watch everything go. There are certain movements.
You should be the most active of the two managers when your team is losing.
Exactly. Look at Arteta. Someone can say, we can say Arteta goes overboard, whatever it is. But is that the reason? Look, when Eddie Howe took over Newcastle, and I was reading comments when the guy was coming, the fans didn't want him. The fans were up in arms. They didn't want Eddie Howe.
Yeah,
what has he done now?
They want again, no name.
And now, even if the no names, I don't think the fans will say they want the no names now, because why? The guy is performing. Pochettino is free. Tuchel is free. If he wasn't performing, they will be linked with all these managers to take over for free. They are not good. They are not under any contract. But what? Eddie Howe went there because Eddie Howe, we know him. He's never been a conservative manager. He always goes attacking Bournemouth style. He's the kind of manager that will be training up. He still goes looking for more goals, and he might end up losing 4-3. He was that kind of manager. So I thought, relegation battle for Newcastle, this guy wouldn't be able to handle it. But what did he do? Solidify them. They survived. And look at the football he's playing now. The fans cannot come out now and say they want Eddie Howe out of the football club. No way.
They're title contenders.
They are title contenders. So Potter coming in, you should know. You've been in the Premier League. They didn't bring you from a different league. You should be able to know what to expect in this league. And you're coaching players that are not mugs. These are players that are experienced. What did he coach Felix in to less than 24 hours for Felix to play that way? Was there any coaching thing that we were saying, oh, this was Potter telling Felix what to do? This is a professional player. So most of those players, they are all professionals. All you need to do is implement your system. This is how we play. Be solid. Do this. We can't see anything. Even when Mauricio Sarri came, Mauricio Sarri started from day one. He played the system. He said the Sarri ball. We were all giving out. Where is your plan B? We were reading comments. He said no plan B until they perfect plan A. That is the system. So what system is Potter implementing that we can say that, oh, he's trying to do this? When I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I follow Arsenal, I follow some other teams just to compare my own. Arteta, when he was playing, we knew what he was trying to do, but the players were not there to implement it. Now he has the players with energy, younger lads who can press, who can do the running, and then look at the results he's getting. But somebody should explain to me what Potter is trying to implement, because I can't see anything. I can't see no system. I don't understand what he's trying to do. And so what are we going to get? Even when the injuries, and then the management of our injuries. Reece James was out for so long. You brought him in. Why not let him play a few minutes and sub him? We allowed him to play nearly full 90 minutes and he got injured again.
Yeah, let me catch up with the chat. I will come to Bobby Fairview, get his let him talk about his observations during the game. I will read a few comments, and I always wanted to say hello to my friend Lala there, who says, seriously, another injury, Zakaria. Yeah, again, that's concerning. I mean, we'll talk about again why now. Again, it's clear it's going to be a risk if we sign him, really. Again, I'm not sure about his fitness. That one there, and this one says, Coach, again, I will explain why Mount and Kai gets all this hate. They played the most games, so we depend on them, and they are not performing. I think, yeah, even Bobby alluded to that already. It's how much game to play, how much time we see them. So, yeah, they're practically the ones leading the team. So when the problem comes, it's only natural they're one of the first to get the fingers. When 7 counts, Jimmy, other 2 counts are still not decided. What am I reading there? Maybe he's having a conversation with someone. The Undertaker CFC, nice to see you. Was a straight 3-game ban on Potter out. Okay. Let's see what we have here. What else do we have? Atiba Salifa, why is this a panelist blaming Jorginho? I haven't heard anybody actually mention Jorginho here. So I don't know where you're getting that from. But that's, by the way, we'll move on. I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom, please. Again, apologies in advance. I am the studio engineer myself, and also, again, controlling the whole screen we're seeing here. And Chama Yosef, I'm seeing you there again. Greetings. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Everyone else, if I missed your again the contributions you have there already, I'll try and get the subsequent ones. So apologies in advance. Like I said, I can't get everything right now. But again, let me just explain something quickly. Already, this poll is been here just for 22 minutes, and we have 73 votes, but we're still stuck in 65 votes, 65 likes. We should be doing better than that, people. Come on, again, keep hitting the like button. Let's get it to 100 as soon as possible. It doesn't make sense that the people pay attention more to the post than they do to the likes. Again, the fact that we said we're gonna go back for Alvarez and not even again done it yet is disrespectful to Alvarez. Did we really say that? The truth is, as long as there's no way to prove that we said that, and then I wouldn't again. I don't care if we go for him or not. But let's find out what happens. And it's not late yet. We're still a few days again into the new the January transfer window. And how stupid again can you be with both 1-on-1 again, a 2-1 results, 2 strikers on the bench, not brought in one? Okay, good question there. Arteta looked clueless when he started, but yeah, you could see at least they were fighting. This is different. It wasn't again during Arteta's when he started his start to life at Arsenal wasn't this bad really. They were fighting. You could see they were fighting. What they lacked was just quality. That's the difference. If that makes any sort of sense to you, how can Potter implement when there is again much pressure? Well, that's why he's getting paid. If the pressure that's coming from the fans, if he cannot handle it, then he shouldn't be a Chelsea manager in the first place.
Can I just add in slight defense of Potter, if you want to compare him with Arteta. When Arteta didn't have Thomas Partey in midfield and I've forgotten the name of the Swiss guy that they have there as well, they struggled. And what he did was when they returned, he added to the midfield as well, and made sure that he was very solid in midfield and physical and solid in defense. And then, of course, the players like your Saka and so on would, never let him down offensively. Where we don't have that, we haven't solidified our midfield at all. And when we attempted to do it, we could only bring in Zakaria and see what's happened there. He's proved to be injury prone. But we still kept on repeating the same people. Kovacic, Jorginho. I think we've got to a point where those two really need to get out of the picture. I'm hearing rumors that Harvey Vale is being looked at again to come back. Is he the ultimate answer? I very much doubt it. But we need to do something totally different. It might cost us more. Because I don't see who we can actually bring in, but we are in such a dire situation, mainly caused by personnel. To start with, before you even talk about the manager, we just don't have the personnel, and the personnel in key areas of the pitch. Now, what the manager is doing is that rather than look for solutions to that, he's going back to reputations. And whoever mentioned this idea that he's killing confidence, that he's had players over the World Cup period that he should be relying on now, but he's not, is 100% right. First players on his team sheet should be those he's worked with.
Especially those games that came immediately after the World Cup.
Yeah. Now, in the during the World Cup period, at least we saw one friendly game where he played with the likes of Dion Ranking. He played with Charlie Webster in the middle. He even played with Cesare Casardi. Now, I know they're young, and I think it might be a bit premature to put them in midfield. But I have to say, from what I've seen of Kovacic, I would rather have seen Charlie Webster there, because he wouldn't have misplaced all those passes, that's for sure. And he has to do something. It's beginning to come to me that, look, apart from Eddie Howe, a lot of our local managers, they lack imagination. They don't seem to be able to come up with things. They either imitate or play players that already have the goods. Eddie Howe has shown to be imaginative. Frank Lampard's too young. Steven Gerrard are too young as far as management is concerned. But I don't see anything. I can't see anything to show that Potter is using some sort of imagination, some sort of creativity. It's just not there. Now, you look at these German managers, they have imagination. They, as far as I'm concerned, were the originators of the high press, your Klopps of this world. And, you look at the national team manager, that is how they play. And other styles that they come out with in terms of like counter-attacking, but we don't do any of that, and that really, really concerns me. I wonder, where are we training our coaches? Who is giving out these coaching badges? Because these guys are robots. There's no imagination whatsoever. And Potter, Potter's being found out for that. His players are being found out. And instead of him to turn around and give us a reaction, do something new, find somebody from the academy and put him into the midfield that is an improvement of what we've got, he's up in arms. I'm scared of that game against Palace. I really am. I really am, because I don't see a way out at all.
Yeah, again, let me catch up with what we have in the chat. I'll come to Bobby Fairview. And again, if you're watching, please keep clicking the heart emoji. You can see that if you're using a mobile device, that does go a long way for the channel. And if you haven't, again, surprisingly, this, again, particular poll has been up there for just 29 minutes, and it's beaten the likes. Again, we're still stuck in on 65, and the poll now has 83 votes. Please, let's get it to 100 likes as soon as possible. Yes, people, please, again, like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. Tuchel was the Wishcombe version of club of Potter, not even closer to Wishcombe quality. Let's move on from that. Again, to be honest, Partey was trash when he first went to Arsenal. I think it took him time to adapt. That's the truth. Exactly. Arteta, again, a real struggled. He was close to being sacked. We just, again, have short memory. No, I paid attention to his struggles when he joined Arsenal. The issue was lack of quality. You can say even those players that are fit now, we have fit, again, counting those, forget those that are out, you can say we're even stronger than what the team they had then. But he knew exactly what he had to do. But in this case, it doesn't look like our manager knows what he had to do to get the best out of what we have. You have to make do with what you have, and it doesn't look like he's doing that. He's actually, again, cozying up to those that are, again, causing the problem, the big name players, the older players, the younger ones that he had the time to train with for the duration of the World Cup. He didn't give them opportunity like Bobby and Eddie Love for Blue have said. He didn't reward them. It doesn't look like he rewards performance too, which we've talked about here before. I don't even think, again, it's Partey or Xhaka that makes that Arsenal team good. I think it's mainly on Odegaard. Odegaard is an exceptional player, but again, more importantly, the reason Arsenal are doing as well as they're doing is that they play as a unit. More importantly, they have a strong, again, they play as a unit. Plus, you see them, they play with you see spirited performances from them week in, week out. You can't see them again play 1 week again, see a spirited performance from them this week and then see them sulking the next one. It doesn't happen like that. Individually, only Silva had been consistent. How Silva not affected by this team's bad performance? No, even he, if you paid attention, he had issues with his position because there were confusion everywhere on the pitch for us. Qatar wants to buy Liverpool. Yeah, that's the business, really. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom again. Coming back to the panel now, your turn, Bobby, for your observations from the game. What do you think is going on with this team? Again, let's talk about the problem. the issues we're seeing, to me, like I said before, I think they're not playing for the manager. I know they're not the best in the world, but they're not playing for Potter. It doesn't look like they trust him.
Big up, Coachella. And
big up to you too,
thank
brother.
you for
And
having me.
thank you so much. And welcome to the panel.
Yeah, this is my debut on YouTube, so thank you for the opportunity.
No, more thanks to you.
Sure, happy to be here. You know, I want to set this scene a little bit. I've been more active on social media in the last couple of days, obviously because of all the alarm about the situation. And I want to say that there were some folks that were concerned that, you know, my comments, because they've been quite directed at Bowley, were anti-American in some instances. But I want to be clear, with all respect to our Muslim brothers, that I was actually rickets in. Okay, so I don't have a problem with American ownership, and I was rickets in because I'm an opponent of cancel culture. I believe it's a blunt object, and that the children should not have been paying for the sins of their father. But that's a diversion to what we're dealing with right now. My concerns were always with the Bowley narrative and where they started. They've always been very critical of the club. From the time they started, they felt as though something was wrong, etc. For me, that's the typical sales job in business. You attach crypto, data, tech to any kind of business case, and you can raise money for it. But Chelsea fans are a little bit more discerning, and there were some of us that were concerned about this, because it showed that he was not taking the time to understand the environment and the culture. He had never run a football club before, okay, but he was coming in immediately feeling that they needed to be changed. Now, Roman was not perfect. We all know that. But with everything in life, you know, there are two sides to everything. A sword cuts, you know, it has two edges, right? So Roman was aggressive in sacking managers, etc. However, that created a standard of excellence in that club that delivered results. And I prefer to deal in outcomes. And the challenge that I am having is that these guys came in, they slashed and burned, root and branch, everything in the club, as though they were coming in with a blueprint. The problem is, I'm not seeing what that blueprint is. And there are folks who are saying, well, Bowley's come in and he's done some good things by appointing all of these directors. Well, tell me which elite club in Europe has this management structure. And you know why? Because elite managers will not be taking instructions from Vivell, right? You're not going to find that in any other top club. What he's turned us into is a Salzburg or a Dortmund or one of these selling clubs. And guess what? Because he's seeing those big ticket sales when you bring through your players and you sell them. This will not work at Chelsea. We are in the business of winning, and Roman instilled that
Here's
culture.
what we're gonna do. Let me give you a secret, Bobby. That's a plan.
Yeah.
I know we have two Bobbies on the panel, and I'm talking about Bobby Fairview. That's a plan for where we'll look at again where the issue beyond again the team, again where it's you could say where it started, or what's causing the issues beyond the playing pitch and all that. But again, I want you really. I know you watched the game.
I'm going to connect it to the game. I'm going to get
right,
there.
Okay,
right?
okay, go ahead.
You know, absolutely. But you have to deal with the root cause of this issue, right? You have had players sitting in there who understood the environment and were comfortable and were producing in that environment. And all of a sudden, everything has been cut down. All of the leaders have been removed. It's a totally different environment. And not only that, you replace it with a man who is patently unqualified for the role. What was Potter's claim to fame before he came here, right? His claim to fame was a double promotion in some Norwegian or Swedish league. He had never won anything in his life, and he had a win percentage record that was around 31%. How do you give a man like that a $4 billion club to run? It does not make sense, and it never made sense. Not only that, you cut his legs off by giving him a team that had just been purchased by a man you just sacked. Nothing made sense there. So what we have is players. Has anybody on the panel or in the chat ever tried to do anything without confidence? You know what happens? It doesn't end well. What we can see here are players like Kova who are a shadow of themselves. Okay, it doesn't make sense how he's playing. It's not a fitness issue. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been in the World Cup playing the way he was. right? So my issue is that what has taken place and the implementation of this structure without a blueprint, or a blueprint that makes sense for a club like Chelsea, has caused a crisis of confidence to cascade right through the organization. Part of that plan was to instill a man who is unqualified. The players don't respect. We can see that from day one. This is the first manager I have ever seen come into Chelsea where the players did not respond to changing manager. We knew that it was over from then. It was never going to end well. They never responded to Potter, and we can see the results of that now. But what I would like to focus on is the fact that there is a broader problem here, and the problem is not Roman, and the problem is not data. The problem is this arrogance of coming in, thinking that you know better than everybody else, but actually you never really had a proper plan to get us to remain among the elite clubs in Europe.
That's deep, really. I hope you'll be around the day again. I call that one a fight. I'll pick a date where I'll put it, and I really want us to talk about that. But again, it's important to always speak about things you think are the roots of the problem we're having right now. I think you can say, yeah, to a measure, yeah. By letting the manager you spent nearly 400 million for, letting him go, bringing another manager in, and like you did put it, cutting his leg off by giving him a tool that wasn't his. And that's, again, short-sighted him, actually. Because if we're being honest, excuse me for the cough, these new players that are playing badly right now, they actually started well under Thomas Tuchel. Raheem Sterling was near excellent under Thomas Tuchel. Same thing as Koulibaly, same thing as Zakaria. But the moment the manager changed, the worst players became the new signings, and the previous, the players that has been at the OGs at the club started doing well. Again, now it's everybody, no confidence at all. But I'll get to Bobby again in a bit.
But coach, just one last point on that, because that's just it. 13 months ago, we were top of the league, okay, and then on top of that, we got rid of the deadwood, which everybody was calling for. Then we broke the British transfer record, and let me tell you, the clubs that are above us in the table right now are a fraction of how much we spent last summer. So don't tell me this is a player problem. Right? Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do. Right? These guys are not bad players all of a sudden. Liverpool took 11 perfect penalties against us last year to have to win a cup, and is only Kepa that missed his. We were challenging.
Let me just ask you this quickly. Do you think we have the best squad in the league?
I don't think we have. We obviously don't. It depends. Injuries or no injuries. Right, because if we have a full squad, I think we've got a squad that can challenge with anyone, and we've demonstrated that because it's the same core players. Mount is not a bad player. Mount gets picked by England before anybody else, so it's not a Chelsea manager bias about Mount and Cobham. He's a good player. Why can't he receive the ball all of a sudden or make a pass?
That's not true.
Mount was benched. Let him drop, Bobby. Let him drop. Go ahead, Bobby.
Said Mount was benched.
Go ahead, Bobby. Thank you. Go ahead. Drop so that you can come in. And then Bobby's smoky signal will come in.
But smoky signals. I get your point. But what I'm saying is, every other manager that has played Mount, he's the first name on the team sheet. Whether or not we like his style or play or whatever, we've had 3 or 4 managers.
Play him, Bobby? Do you know why they play him? And the reason
because
why
they want to defend from the front, right?
No, I'm coming. The reason why those managers always play him is the reason why he hasn't reached, again, the heights we know, if you know him too well, that he can reach. Why?
He already reached
the industry.
He already reached the highest. He's not going to get any better.
You will get your chance at Showtime. Sorry, brother. Apologies. Again, they play him because of his industry. Mount started again. I think he broke into broke into our first team at the age of 21. At that age, the focus of the manager should have been his development. Teach him. You need to teach him. You don't bring him on to run on the pitch, run 90 minutes, 120 minutes. Teach him. Make him better. Had Mount started under Pep Guardiola at the age of 21, he'd be a better player than he is right now. But everything the manager wanted to see from him is to run, press 90 minutes plus, which has led to us only seeing flashes of brilliance from Mount. That is not me saying Mount is the best player of Chelsea, but I'm not saying he's the worst. He's a good player and should be better Again, he should begin again far better than he is right now. But because the managers never focus on the boys' development, now it's a bit too late actually. That's why I'm saying to save him, for him to be able to reach that level we believe he can reach, he has to leave Chelsea. Because Potter himself, he values the energy Mount brings on the pitch than what Mount is actually capable of doing. Again, seeing things from a technical perspective. It's always his energy, always his running. That's it. Even they've done it as a pattern to it. Then even again, the average Chelsea fan would tell you Mount is going to start this game because we need somebody to be pressing up there. That's how bad it's become. There hasn't none of these managers, none of them have helped has helped Mount become a better player. Rather, they want to play him until his maybe until his leg is broken, until we see again he's mentally tired. He needs a break. His decision making is usually the yardstick to look at and say, oh, okay, now I have to rest him. Bobby Smoky Signal, you came in because you wanted to respond. I'll come to you in a bit short time because, sorry, Bobby wanted to respond to that quickly. Go ahead, Smoky Signal. Are you there, Bobby, or should I go to Showtime? All right, Showtime, if you're ready to, again, come in. I think he's probably at work, and usually on muting his, again, small device is usually an issue. Showtime, go ahead, you can talk. And it looks like you had a response too.
Good morning, first and foremost. And if Smoky Signals comes back in, I'll yield to give him back his time. But I want to give a round of applause to the other Bobby for what the statement he just made. Spot on about every single aspect of the organization, the structure that has just came in, the manager, and the players. A round of applause for him. Happy Friday to you all.
Happy Friday to you, brother.
Regarding the statement on Mason Mount, he has reached his full potential. Mason Mount would not get any better. This is the cause of running him and playing him so many games without giving him the leisure to rest and relax and be a young, youthful player. He has reached his potential.
Without really coaching him to become better.
Yeah, but look, it's also on himself to want to be better and do better and improve your game. It's not only on the managers to do that. He has to take his time in his summer and want to sit down and not only vacation, but think about how I can get better. That's your own responsibility as a player. The manager's responsibility is to win matches and bring trophies to the club. That's the manager's job, not to develop anybody in particular. That was his dad's job, Frank Lampard, and he's gone. And now Mason Mount has to be a man and step up for himself. But regarding
before I ask you to go to the game, I have to say this: at the age of 21, when you're a manager of a club, you have a 21-year-old in your team. It's your responsibility to still continue coaching them, to detail to a T, because then that's why again at that age, that's why I say again. For instance, in the case of Kai Havertz, he's a victim of his versatility. Really, he's a victim of his versatility because again, you don't play a young player one position today, the other player at his age, one player at one position today, another position tomorrow. They're not going to settle quickly. You end up confusing them. But go ahead. I want to get your thoughts and your observations from the game yesterday. What do you think the problem is really?
Yesterday's game, I mean, look, I came in with high hopes. I wanted to win in that derby. I thought we was going to win. The least I thought we were going to do was draw that match. I didn't expect to lose. João Felix, welcome to Chelsea. Potter, he needs to go. I mean, it's about time. I mean, I haven't been bashing him. I wasn't scapegoating. I wasn't calling him out. But now I'm fed up. I'm tired. Mr. Bowley, you need to sit down and think, what would Roman Abramovich do in this situation? 20 years of success. He gave you a blueprint, and you're just leaving the blueprint alone and trying to create a whole new blueprint with no success. You can't bring it and have a superstar manager, a world-class manager, and then you hire a small boy to come and take over of what the superstar has done. I mean, that makes no logical sense. We played okay. We started off hot and fire. We started off well. But then again, we have a manager that tactically can't come in and make changes to a game. He had made no changes. He does this all the time. He starts one way, he keeps the same way. He makes no tactical changes, and then all of a sudden he starts bringing in change subs. All these 4 subs at one time, 3 subs at one time. It makes no difference if you don't tactically change things in situations. The great managers know how to change things on the fly. Second half, you make some changes. I think Potter is in over his head. I think this new ownership is in over their head. I think they need to go back to the blueprint of what was given to you guys on a platter and eat from the platter, and don't try to be greedy and go to other platters when the opportunity is right in front of your face. Because right now, we as fans, me in particular as a fan, I am not happy. I'm not enjoying watching the Chelsea that I know to enjoy to watch.
So let me ask you quickly. To you entirely, do you think it's a player's problem entirely, or do you think it's partly the manager, partly the players?
No, I mean, yesterday, the way we started is the Chelsea that we know. They have the problem with not finishing because João Felix gave Kai Havertz a goal on his foot, and he just bamboozled it. But we've known that. But it's also on the manager to put, because look, if it was Tommy Tuchel, we have not went on this type of run. The last run we went on with this, the manager was sacked, and that was Frank Lampard, and we brought in a world-class manager to come and change things around. So that shows a lot because we've been through this. We've lost matches, and then quickly there's been a change. I think that what was done early in the season should have been done now if that was the instance. But I don't think that if we had the manager that we had in the beginning of the season and we would not be in this type of run. I don't think so. I wouldn't even bet money. I'm not a gambling man, but I can bet that it wouldn't happen. I just think that this manager is in over his head. He hasn't won anything. He's not a winner. He hasn't done anything in his career. I think he should have stayed at Brighton and kept him at the mid-table and leave us with, but it's okay. We have to deal with what we have. But I don't know how we're going to get over this hump because this hump we're still climbing this hill and it's going up and up, but there's no down to it as of right now. I don't see how we can get over this at this point in the season. I don't.
I'm gonna say this again. My concern isn't really that he hasn't won anything. There's a first for everything. I always say that. And again,
yeah, but he's not gonna win anything this season. You think he's gonna? The only cup that we're chasing is UCL Champions League. That's the only cup we're in still. Everything else, we can't win anything anymore. And the odds for us to win the Champions League is slim to none with this manager.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm not saying I have a lot of question marks. There's still time. We don't have enough sample size. How many games has he played? I think things will have to be consistently awful and so bad before they say no, this isn't gonna work. Good thing we have a technical director. But here's the thing.
Sorry, Coach.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in there?
Yeah, go ahead.
You see, I'm glad that you touched on the technical director because this is a particular sore point for me on why I don't see this bully blueprint. Okay, name another top European club with that structure in place where you have these technical directors buying players and giving to a trainer to train. It doesn't exist. All of them, even Arteta calls the shots over there at Arsenal. He gets rid of who he wants to get rid of. Okay. And I don't understand why we as fans are satisfied that this is some sort of brilliant approach to setting up a structure in our club, right? And to me, it compounds the problem because if you get rid of Potter now, which elite manager comes in to take instructions from Vavell? None. So we can talk about sustainability all we like. We are sustainable if we compare ourselves to Dortmund and Salzburg, if we want to just generate young talent and sell. But not if we want to win things with the likes of Madrid. There's no way Alex Ferguson would be taking any instructions from a Vavell. This structure is not in the Chelsea DNA. And let's talk about the young players that they're buying as well. Song's great on paper. Again, this is not Chelsea even pre-Roman. We used to bring in the likes of Desai, okay? Vialli. These players were coming in, slightly past prime, but quality and knowing how to win things. This is not who we are today. This is not where this management team is taking us. And I made a mistake of talking about Monk just now because I know he's a controversial figure. But we can say the same thing about Kova. We can say the same thing about any of these players. They're not bad players all of a sudden in 6 months. The only thing that's changed in 6 months is an arrogant ownership coming in here and throwing shade at everything that Roman built, slashing and burning everything. And now there's a cascading crisis of confidence throughout the club, and we can't even get out of our own way to beat Fulham. It's insane.
Yeah, it's a concerning situation. Chelsea are serial of winners before Potter. Chelsea have a standard before which Potter's team is playing now. Virtually any EPL team now will beat Potter's Chelsea. That's how you see it. Okay, Potter didn't win the first 10 games in his first 2 seasons at Brighton. He never got more than 50 points in his entire coaching career. What was Todd thinking? 31% winning percentage at Brighton. Again, like I'm going to say this again, this is not me, arguing for his sake. No, I'm just saying, again, what I think they signed him. You know how you would sign the player because of that player's potential. Believing that if that player joins your team, because you'd have better players surrounding them, that they do surrounding that particular player, that they become better. Maybe they feel like with a club like Chelsea, with the sort of players we have, the quality of players we have, he'd be able to achieve a lot. But yeah, I have a lot of question marks. I have to say that again. But here's the thing: the situation is it's getting worse. If anything, it's worse because again, I'm still saying this. It looks like he's lost in the dressing room. Just quickly, I want to take care of this update here before we move on. I'll catch a bit of what we have in the chat. We'll move on again to looking at the numbers of the players. I hope you guys don't mind. Sorry, that went blank. Okay, let's start with this one here. This one says again, Telegraph Sports can reveal Chelsea players feel medical staff were sacked too quickly, and the ones that they trusted with their fitness are no longer at the club. Wow. Bobby Smoky Signal, are you there? Again, if you're paying attention to this, I'm not sure whether to believe this or whether this can actually be an issue with the players. I'm not sure really because what do you think?
That can be a problem when a medical team has your information, has been taking care of you for the past how many seasons you've been at Chelsea, and all of a sudden, whoops, new ownership coming, you gotta go, you're fired. Like the former president of the United States said, you're fired. Then you bring in somebody new that doesn't know you from the back of your hand, and then all of a sudden you don't trust them to take care of you. It happens, It's a little shaky, but it happens. It's like you going to the doctor now. Your primary doctor's not there, and then you have to see the assistant doctor. You're gonna be like, "Whoa, this guy! All you're gonna do is read my file," but the other doctor knows me better. So I could say that's possible.
But I'll take it a step further, Showtime, right? What was the point? Why did they feel the need to come in and do that? They came in and sacked the medical department and decided to outsource the function. But I'll tell you guys.
So do you think that that's an issue, really, Bobby?
I mean, we can see now the players are telling you internally it's an issue. We can stand outside and see that it would be an issue. Why would you have done that? What is the point? But I'll tell you why they do it. Because this is how these venture capitalists work. They buy a company or an organization, they come in, they gut it with a view to selling it. Okay, this is just how they operate. He did not come in here with a blueprint to manage a football club to win things, right? Because there's no purpose for them coming in and removing all the medical staff who all, to Showtime's point, all have relationships with the players. Like these things matter to people's confidence. But the sad part is, what is the end game? Why did they do it? You can't see it.
Wow. Okay, let me follow this out again. This says again, players believe changes to the medical department were made too quickly and that individuals they trusted with their fitness. Okay, we've read that one. Is it the same as this one? Maybe I'm mixing something up here. I'm going to take it out and bring it back in. And Chelsea are now reviewing the medical department and the way in which players are treated and allowed to recover in a bid to bring the club in line with their rivals and improve their injury records. it's everywhere, really. I think in a bit we'll start looking at it, what other topics we have lined up before we look at, again, the performances of the players. And just quickly, anything else? What am I looking at here? If you're watching, again, I just don't understand. It just doesn't make any sort of sense. The poll, which asks, what are you for? Potter out already 51%. Give Potter time 37%. I am not sure. 11%. It has 101 votes. And we have just 73 likes. Please, if you took time to participate again in the poll, please, again, it takes just, again, half a second to click on the like button. The likes do go along with. Please drop a like on the stream to help us reach more people. Again, that goes a long way for the channel. Just quickly, again, let me see. There's an update here I want us to look at. Yeah, exactly. Just give me 1 second. Let me see. Yep, again, I've taken care of those updates. Yeah, let's see what else we have here. Let's look at this one. I wanted us to look at these updates. This is it. Chelsea will be without Raheem Sterling for next week's Premier League match against Liverpool, with the England international likely to remain sidelined with a hamstring injury for at least another 2 weeks. Yeah, we have a whole community of injured players. And injury can update on Dennis Zakaria. I think we should talk again. I shouldn't just skip that. And I'm going to start with you, Showtime. As well as he's done, his injury still, his fitness still remains a concern. Really, what do you think? I don't think we should be quick to pay that money for him. We still have to the end, like I've always said, we still have to the end of the season to monitor him and see if he stays fit or if he comes in and then next week he's injured. Showtime, your thoughts?
I mean, he's on loan. I think it depends on the severity of his injury. I think he's going back to where he came from if he's on loan. I mean, depends if they, look, at the end of the day, he was playing well for us. I mean, he took the void from the pizza boy Jorginho, and he came in and did a little bit. I was pleased with his performances and every time he started. I mean, it's just sad that we have another injury. We only have how many midfielders do we have left? Just two? Just two midfielders.
We have a lot of them, but not balanced.
Yeah, but two holding mid, two number sixes basically, Kova and Jorginho basically that plays that position on a regular. I mean, look, this is just. I mean, I don't think he has an injury. He's injury prone. I just think that this one just came out of the blue, which was not expected. I wish he didn't.
No, this is the second time really. I think the first game he started, he had to be taken off because he's injured. He got injured.
I thought it was more of a fitness issue with him, but
yeah, that's another one too.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's not like he's a bit taller, so when you're tall and stuff, your limbs are a little bit more weaker, in certain areas. But I mean, it's sad to see that him go down at a time when he was performing at a decent place.
Yeah, again, if you're watching, if you haven't taken a second to drop a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much. We need 26 more likes to get it to 100. Please, let's get it there as soon as possible. If we're able to get 118 votes, again, in the poll, we should have something close to 100 at least. Bobby Fairview, your thoughts. Zakaria is a risk, but I would say let's watch him to the end of the season to see if he can stay fit in terms of not getting injured after every 2 games or after 3 games. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there's some backstory to this player. We're all wondering why it took so long for him to get on the team in the first 11 or even to get minutes. The concern I was having was that he came from not playing at all to all of a sudden we needed him. We were relying on him in every game. I mean, that typically will only result in one outcome, right? Which is what we're seeing right now. So it's really a question of how bad is this injury. It usually takes a couple of days for them to come to a conclusion. But for me, I don't see any other options at that price, right? And what we need to be concerned about is the amount of spending that has already happened. We can't spend forever. I don't care how much money Bowley has. At the end of the day, spending has to be 90% of revenue, right? In terms of transfer, amortization of transfer fee and the cost of the salaries. So at some point in time, we're going to be forced to stop spending, but we would have already dropped $500 million. And where are we? Right. So I think that he's a bargain. We should, as much as possible, be open to keeping him because I think we're going to need him at least as a backup player to whoever marquee name we bring into midfield, because that player will also need cover. So I think we need to be thinking about it in those terms, assuming that this injury is not an ACL or something like this.
Yeah, again, Mike my words says that Jean Lo. Is it Jean Lo? Yeah, again, Kova and Ziyech are next to go on injury. I see that again. I see that coming. They cannot play 2 more games with a hamstring. Really, with a hamstring, it's very visible how they get tired again in every second half of the games they play. Again, I'm not sure where to coming from that, but the whole thing is concerning to me. We move on from Zakaria. I want us to talk about João Felix. To me, I think he showed us what has been missing in the team. He showed us, if we're talking about assembling the team being a puzzle, he showed us again a player that again of his profile is really what we need. See how again he was carrying the whole team again just by the way he plays, not really again, not even talking. Showtime, your thoughts on his performance yesterday? Although, yeah, mad, but again, by the red card, you could say, and a deserved red card indeed, if we're being honest. But your thoughts, Showtime.
Yeah, João Felix, a round of applause on your debut. I mean, you started off hot. He gave us a little bit spark in what we've been missing, a direct player, straight out of attack, go straight at the defense, make them feel uncomfortable. He started off well. I mean, he was doing pleasing. I thought that's why at first when I saw the game as it began to start, I thought we were going to win this match comfortably, actually. That's how I felt. But then, things happen within the match. Honestly, I mean, João Felix, welcome to the Premier League, man. Certain things you can and can't do, But, yeah, I mean, look, he started off well. I mean, 3-game ban now, so it's to tell what's going to happen when he comes back and how comfortable he quickly gels with the squad here. I mean, and what this manager can offer for him.
No, for me, in the first place, I wouldn't start him. I hated it that he was starting. I knew it was a risk, but I didn't know it was a sort of, risk that will lead to him being red carded. My concern has always been, again, that however he does on the day sets the tone for how he'd do, and again, the remaining time for the 6 months that he'd be with us. So I was concerned about that. Some say I was going overboard, but still I was concerned. He needed, again, for me, I wouldn't rush him in. Even if he gets game time that yesterday, it would be like 25, 30 minutes. But you get my point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree, but he's fit. He came in, he's fit. I mean, he didn't need time to recover or anything. He hasn't been banged up. He's coming in ready to go. I mean, that's what's the purpose of his loan, to come in and get acclimated quickly as possible. I think Gary Potter knew exactly what he needed from him. I told him directly, and then he came in and offered what he can. I just think, put him in on the bench. Who was you going to play in front of him? I don't think anybody on our bench had the quality of what he has to offer as of right now. So I can agree and disagree to that fact that he should have came off the bench, but I preferred him to start anyway, and it showed the attackers that were on the bench and the ones that are at home resting and getting recovery that, hey, this is the type of attacker that we need, not the ones that go sideways when you have a through ball on an angle. I mean, I know you guys saw that pass that Mount quickly gave to Aspilicueta when he could have drove the ball and gave it to João Felix on the left, but hey, that's just one of many. It's okay.
Yeah, I did see that. Just quickly, let me get what we have in the chat. And again, Mike, I read that one. This one says again, Felix was giving me Hazard vibes. They're 2 different type of players. So let's say he was unlucky and got a red card. If we help him keep his cool and not make rush tackles, he will be again very helpful to us. Even before he arrived, I knew he'd be a good addition to us. He'd help us do better. But remember, again, the remaining games we'll have until the season comes to an end. It was quite unfortunate, but like I said, I wouldn't have started him yesterday. Good day, boss. I'm happy to be on the show again with my 0% confidence on Chelsea. Graham Potter, don't forget, I always said in my comments on this show that I have 0 confidence on the Cavs. Yeah, under coach, I remember that again. But again, that's the first for everything. So give the man a chance. But I have a lot of questions. I'm going to keep saying that again. Chelsea lost his.
Quick question, coach. When you say give him a chance, how many more chances do you think he needs?
It is not up to me to define what time is again, or how much time is it?
Yeah,
is enough time.
no, but from your perspective, you say, from your perspective,
to
you
the
say
end of
give
the
the man.
season. We've already taken the risk, and it's a bit too late to change things now, mid-season. I don't know if that makes sense.
And we don't have a structure.
Yeah,
we don't have the structure to bring in an elite manager. No, because an elite manager is not coming in and sitting down under Vivell. So we've created a structure that requires a new yes man.
It's again.
Who's that going to be? We might as well keep Potter.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like some people say that, again, they hired Potter because he's a yes man manager, and they know Tuchel wouldn't take that. But just quickly, Rotten says again, Chelsea lost in several matches. What should be done if it is getting worse? What is again really happening? What is Chelsea this year? Who is to blame in this kind of things? Wow, that's how many questions? That's like 6 questions in one sentence, but all make sense. Let me go again. Who's to blame for again? Who's to blame for this kind of thing? Let me say again. Should I even again the term use the word blame? I would say again. Let me just say the issue is what I'm seeing. I've taken my time. I think again it took me time before I said this. The players are not playing for Potter. It doesn't look like they trust him. And to solve the problem, from what I'm seeing, Potter has to do an Arteta. In the sense, he has to get rid of the big name players that doesn't seem like they're playing for him. He hasn't been this bad. Even
Sorry,
on his
coach,
worst day,
I'm at work, so I had to run off and do something.
Understand.
In case you called me and I didn't respond.
No problem, bro. I understand.
I'm back now.
Okay. So again, so my point is again, the problem is these big name players that he's trusting, they don't trust him. They don't trust him. And if you remember, Thomas Tuchel says, again, you have to begin, success or progress will make the players trust the process. Without progress, the players cannot trust the process. And it's gotten up to a point that these players will be questioning his his ability tactically. And if you see them, when was the last time Kovacic played this badly? Only when he was nursing an injury. But yesterday he wasn't. He doesn't have any. He doesn't have any sort of injury, any injuries right now. So again, look at it. You see lack of confidence all over the pitch. Lack of confidence all over the pitch. And for that to change, he has to drop them. I think somebody has already said that before. He had to drop them and start the younger players who doesn't have the pedigree to question his ability. They just listen and they want to play. Because again, they only want to play. They only want to show they can do better than the older ones. They know if they underperform, they get dropped. But the older ones, he's making them feel like they're indispensable. For instance, we had again at the time. There was a time Raheem Sterling was starting every game after game, even when there are better players on the bench than him. And again, look at the case of Chukwuemeka, who trained with him a month plus. Look at the game he didn't start. That Eddie Love for Blue talked about. The game we expected him to start, but he didn't. It's just like he doesn't reward performance. He doesn't reward, again, hard work and all that. He just want to fuel the older players. Again, he's playing politics with his tenure at Chelsea, which will eventually lead to him losing his job. Again, there are so many questions here. I'm going to come to you, Bobby, Smoky Signals, because you have been out for a while. There's a few questions in this one sentence here. Yeah, go ahead.
Coach, I'm sorry. I just wanted to weigh in on the Felix question, but I'll do that after Smokey comes in.
Yeah, I'm waiting again. Yeah, Bobby, can you pick a question from this one? One question here. There are 4 questions here. It says again, Chelsea lost in several matches. What should be done if it's getting worse? That's one. What is really happening? Yeah, in this to Chelsea this year. That's 2. Who is to blame in this kind of thing? That's 3 right now. I think there's 4 questions. So you pick one. Which one do you want to address about Bobby Smokey Signals?
So what should be done? If it gets worse, that's the current concern, isn't it? That, if it gets worse, because at the moment, what we're doing is hemorrhaging losses, and the injuries are piling up, and uh, the squad hasn't really improved. The slight improvement we've got are not getting used. The one that was used got a red card and is suspended for 3 key games. If I were the owners at this point, I would have to call Potter to order. I'll have to ask him, do you need additional help? His pride may not accept that, but I think he does. I think he needs some guidance. He needs somebody to tell him, okay, let's use this person from the academy. Let's use this person from the academy to shore things up. Give him some confidence. Okay, start Chukwuemeka ahead of Mount in this game. Start to. I know it's difficult to put the weight of responsibility on youngsters, but Lewis Hall has been exemplary. He's shown what these young kids can do if you give them the opportunity. You need to take some chances. Yeah, play Dion Rankin. Why not? Put him out on the left or put him into the midfield, because the midfield is our biggest problem. There is no outlet for the defense, and there's no support for the attack. So the engine room, and that's because the engine room is not functional. And until we bring in imports from the transfer market, we have to use what we have. And what we have has to come from the academy, because what we're currently using is not working. That's the only thing we can do. If it gets worse, then the ownership, I think, have to pull the trigger. Ultimately pull the trigger and put Neil Bath in charge. Put one of the academy lot in charge. Will that help? Probably not. But just do anything to get to the summer. That's all, because I can't see anybody in world football that will step in happily at this time. You can probably entice someone, but they'll end up being the wrong choice. That person there needs to be a process. There needs to be a careful selection of whoever takes over next. They need to have time to look at the team. They need to have time to understand the structure of the squad, the academy, what the tools they have available. Now, unless that is an ex-player, or indeed an ex-manager, it's going to be really difficult. We just have to pray that somehow Potter gets it together, because firing him is not the ideal situation. It might even make it tank worse. But if he doesn't stop hemorrhaging losses, he may give the owners no choice. And then, brace yourselves, we could be looking at the ultimate humiliation, and that is the greatest financial expenditure on relegation in football in history. Because if you think it can't happen, it can. Look at.
Do you really believe it can happen, Bobby?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I have a question for Smoky Signals. He's been around for a long time. He's been around British football for a long time. Do you remember any instance where you have owners contacting the manager on a weekly basis? Obviously, I mean, those conversations would obviously have to be around the team and selections, etc., because Potter doesn't have any transfer responsibility, right? So we have the owners. He said 2 days ago that the owners call him 2 to 3 times a week. Can you remember any other situation where you have owners meddling in team affairs like that, where it led to a good outcome? Doesn't happen. But maybe you know of examples. So as a question to you, that kind of situation, have you seen that in British football or European football before? And what are typically
Bobby, up to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. It's very difficult to judge, isn't it? It's hard to say it's meddling, or just communicating and discussing. Remember, this is a unique situation. Any ownership is different and unique in its own right. But what has happened at Chelsea is even more unique, because There is a building in the ownership, and there's a building in the playing staff. There's a building all over the club. So there needs to be a coordinated uh, effort to all those that are involved in the building process. And of course, the spearhead to the club is the playing side. So the managers and the owners do need to be in communication. I mean, it may not necessarily just be about the immediate performances. It's largely, I would think, about targets. You know, is this player good? Should we go for this player?
But wait, hold on. But isn't that what Vivell and those guys are for? Why are they having that conversation with Potter? He's a trainer.
Well, yes and no. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I heard from the videos of Todd Bowley, especially when he was explaining why they got rid of Thomas Tuchel, is that they want everybody to be able to be in communication. Now,
Yeah.
Vival and Paul Winstanley will use their expertise and knowledge of the market and knowledge of players and knowledge of um, agents to make the moves happen. But I would think that in the structure and the running of the club, there will be various board meetings, there'll be planning meetings in which they are all coming together and contributing to a discussion. That's what that's how I think they want the club to run. Is that right? I don't know. Is it wrong? I don't know.
Whose benefit is it for, though? And that's the other question.
No,
Because
also,
when you
yeah, and also remember, Todd Bowley was also in a position in the club before he resigned. So I think it also makes sense when he calls to discuss some issues with the coach. He wasn't just only a CEO.
Exactly.
Remember, he was.
All this is fine. But for whose benefit was it for? Is he adding value to Potter, or is Potter just simply keeping him informed?
I don't think it could be analysed that way. It was for the benefit of the club.
No, but we have history here, right? This is my point. We have history here. And I can't cite a specific example now, but I know they're out there where big-name managers have complained about owners interfering, and that's why they walked away from a club. Because it doesn't end well. There is no point to the conversation. It creates artificial pressure. It is of no use to the coach. Because what is he telling him? What does he know about what the coach needs to do? Right?
Okay.
He might be caught.
But I don't think there's anything in this.
Bobby Smoke. Let's wait for Bobby Smoke signal. He wants to give an example.
I just want to give an example of what I believe Bobby's is that Bobby Fairview that
Yeah.
I think he's saying. A perfect example of that, bringing it home to Chelsea, where interference in the true sense of the word came in, if you want to use it that way, or rather ownership intimidation came in, was when Marina got involved with Antonio Conte. Antonio Conte wanted this player, she wanted that player, and they got that player because that's what she wanted. And he got frustrated, or he would drop a list. She would ask for a list, he would drop a list. And then after a while, she'll look at the list, disregard the list, and get somebody else. That is interference. But in this case, I don't think it's like that at all. I don't think, I think everything has been done to encourage the involvement and the wishes of the said manager. However, Chelsea Football Club is a football club. It's an entity. It is a super sporting entity in terms of football. All these people that think, oh, you know, the managers, players, I don't think that exists anywhere in top flight football. There is an element of the manager's choice, and then everything is based on the club choice, because the club cannot be dependent on the manager. The club has to be able to keep going on, regardless of who the manager is. That's why you have people like Vival. That's how you have people like Paul Winston-Stanley now come in to create the vision. The vision, remember, this club has only been on this ownership for a few months. It hasn't been a year. They've had to do a lot in a short period of time. And just as was said earlier by someone, that Todd Bowley was holding the reins in terms of the sporting director in order to keep things ticking over. Now he's got Vival and Winstanley. He's stepped back to become the chairman, who is still involved, but not directly involved with the nitty gritty and the day-to-day aspect of sporting directorship. And now they've taken over. But when did they start? It's less than a month ago they started. So everything is new. Everything is still being put in place. Potter came in 4 months ago. He brought his Brighton people 2 months ago, even less in some cases. We've got people on the board just coming in, director of football, sporting director, chief scout, all these new things. Our medical team is being rearranged at the same time.
But Bobby, which other major club challenging for trophies, winning their leagues, challenging for the Champions League has that director structure in place?
Very good question.
I don't know.
Which other major
I don't know
club?
one.
Let him answer. Let him answer you.
Well, that is a very good question, but then you have to say, which other major club had the situation that Chelsea had? None. Every club that has been sold, every club that has been taken over by a new ownership has had a process, a time to be able to embed whatever structure it is they wanted. We have not had this time. We have not had this opportunity. So everything that's happening at Chelsea Football Club at the moment is unique. So in as much as we want to hold people responsible, and indeed they are responsible, in as much as Mr. Potter has a measure of responsibility to play in performances, which he does, one mitigating circumstance remains, which will probably make him survive in his job till the end of the season, regardless. And that is that the unique circumstances with which all this has come about has been largely out of their control. It wasn't Todd Bowley's fault that the sale couldn't go through till well into the transfer market. It wasn't the club's fault that the former owner was prevented from being involved, because he was a very hands-on guy, from being involved with the club for a year before he was actually banished from owning the club. And he had to hand over to people like Marina and so on. Now, were they totally wrong in what they did? No. In some instances, I think she did well. In most instances, I personally think she did badly, because ultimate power corrupts. If you give somebody who doesn't fully understand the workings and the meanings of what they're doing, especially if they're a business person, their business instincts kick over and it becomes about self-survival, self-progression and so on. Is that her fault? Not really. She's a businesswoman. She's doing what she does. Is that Roman's fault? Not really. Is it the government's fault? Well, sort of. But did they take the right reason? I don't know. I'm not a politician. So there's been a cacophony of things. So for we as fans, I think what we need to do is let these new owners cook. They've stepped into the kitchen. They're putting the ingredients together. They put the tomatoes and the onions and the sauce in the pot. Let them start to stir the pot. It hasn't been a year. We have no choice, really. We have no choice, because this situation can only be fixed by them. I can't see, and even as much as I would like to say, Potter out tomorrow, I'm thinking, well, if Potter's out, then what? I think we have no choice other than to keep this geezer till the summer. And if they're going to fire him, then fire him then. But, we sink or swim with him now. That's where we're at.
Yep. Let me get what we have in the chat, and then I'll come back and continue. Go ahead.
But I'd like to respond to Bobby, and I also want to touch on Felix. Okay, sure. Look, I don't think that his situation is as unique as you might suggest. We've had a change in ownership in this club before, okay? And what did he do? He went and he got an elite, strong manager to come and take over that team, got the players that he wanted, and to implement that coach's vision on the pitch. Bowley had the opportunity to come in and back Titi and do the exact same.
The planning behind the takeover by Roman Abramovich, he was involved for 6 months before he was announced. So he had time to put. This is a very unique situation.
Yeah.
Nobody could legislate
No. Hold on. Let me finish.
Let me say this quickly, Bobby. Let me say this quickly, Bobby. I think we should move on from this topic and finish again the review we're doing, because I have just a few minutes left.
Sure. Let me jump to Felix.
I was even enjoying it. I have to again stay and listen, but you would derail us, and we can't continue again. Maybe I think, like I said, we schedule we'll schedule a show. But go ahead.
You'll have a separate show on that and the merits of what Bowley is trying to do, and whether or not it'll be too late. It'll be too late when this vision starts to play out. Okay, that's my concern. But in terms of Felix yesterday, we had a situation where it looked like, we don't know the details inside, but it looked like right after the humiliation of at City, all of a sudden this loan was announced with these very odd terms. Okay, for suspicious people like myself, I'll say, well, a bit of a smoke screen to get the fans off of their backs singing, for TT, etc. But then we go and we put the poor player in. We start him in a derby with all that pressure. Only had his work permit that very same morning. How did we expect this to end well on the pitch, right? And we have a very small window where he's coming in still with confidence, and just like Alba and Sterling and all these other players who came in, showed flashes of brilliance of their own selves. Just like all of them, I worry that he's going to fall right off. And this obviously, what happened at the end of the game will not help his confidence.
Can I say something?
Just 1 second. I think he can overcome that. He's a very strong confidence. It will be painful for him. But if he looks back and see how well he did in the game, I think he'll be okay. I still blame the manager for starting him. Even if he wants to give him game time, fine, but not start him. But go ahead, Hakeem, please. We have a few minutes to round up. I have to go help my son get ready for school.
Okay. About João Felix. For me, I don't see any problem Porter starting him, because our forward line have been really bad lately. So for me, I feel like
you compare to what happened yesterday, because there's a chance had he trained with his team more, he wouldn't be in a position where he had to put in that tackle. Probably the pressure was too much to perform.
Yeah, honestly. But I remember when Marina brought Pedro to Chelsea. He said he didn't bring Pedro to Chelsea to come as a tourist. He brings Pedro to come and work. So as soon as Pedro came to Chelsea, the next game Pedro was in the lineup.
Given that argument, I'd bring you the case of Fernando Torres, signed from Liverpool, and Ancelotti started him the next game, which was Liverpool. The risk there, well, you could argue his performance that day set the tone for how his career at Chelsea went. That's the risk. I liked how he played yesterday. But still, I still go and look back and say he shouldn't have started. We have good enough. We have players to do better. If the manager is doing his job, we have players to do well and still bid for him. But go ahead with what you were saying, because we don't have too much time now.
Yeah, for me, I don't think we have any players that could do better than what João Felix did, because we've seen our players played and we know their capability. There's nothing new they can show us. For me, at this point in Chelsea, like, as a Chelsea fan or Chelsea supporter, there's nothing that Kai Havertz could show me for me to be like, he's a top-notch player or he's a world-class player. Same to Mason Mount. So if you have a player with Felix caliber and he comes in your team, for me, I feel like even Willian, any normal attacker could work in Chelsea team at this moment and be a first team player, because what we have right now is nothing that we should it's not something that we could depend on. So João Felix coming and we know his potential, we know what he can do. We've seen him played in the World Cup. For me, I feel like there's nothing wrong starting him. This is because if you have a company and then you employ somebody and you are paying the person and all the paperwork is done, the person start work, as soon as possible. So for me, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay. Like I said, I will come back to you and say it depends on the type of work in question. Some work you need to stretch. I don't know how else to phrase this. You need training
too. No matter or you need to understand again the culture of the organization in question. You need to understand your teammates also. Yeah, you have to work, but it has to be the integration is always gradual. You're not again. It's not never good to be drastic about it with the integration process. I don't know if that makes any sort of sense again, but I think he's strong enough to come back even better. If anything, he's learned something early. He's learned something on time. It's not too late. He missed 3 games. That's fine by me. But I think he still have a lot to offer. Just quickly, good question. Lola says there. What do we have here? Clueless as I think what it is. I also think Chelsea's problem is multi-dimensional. Again, something is definitely wrong with our medics, our physio, and diet system. Every Chelsea player is not looking fit. Yep, again, they're not looking fit. They're not looking confident. It's something that's again something. There's something beyond the surface that we again, the average fan, let's say the fans cannot see, and that's concerning, really, if we're being honest. I believe it's the same as PSG last year. Wanted to solve it all with money. Oh no! Come on, Lala. You know I love you, my friend, but this coming right here. Buying expensive players, you need a stable project and support the manager. They're not all Tuchel's. They need time. I believe again, but again, support the process. But I don't want to die again. Supporting the process. You can always again, if you want a situation not to be bad, there's this saying that says follow the punch, and it won't hurt that much. But to me, it just looks as if Graham Potter he isn't helping matters. Because it seems as if he's being drastic about implementing how he wants the game played, and he's even pragmatic. Even again, what a beat that can help him. Pragmatism to an acceptable measure, even if it doesn't look beautiful all the time, it can help him stabilize the ship. That's important, especially now that he has again. You can say majority of the key players injured. That's the thing. My point is that we should be doing better than we're doing. Yes, people keep liking the stream. What 80 likes? We have about again, let's say at most 5 minutes to round off, but we can still make it to 200, 100 likes. Just 20 more to get it to 100. So please keep liking the stream and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I agree. Again, it's late to bring in a new coach. Again, he has to the end of the season to do something, but that doesn't mean if he's dragging us to the relegation zone, he's going to keep his job. I don't think so, really. Even his biggest supporters will start saying, "That's it." But people forget that we have no spine at the moment. No one wants to walk to their own slaughter willingly. Oh yeah, that's the truth. That what they're saying there. As fans, we need to boycott matches and force changes. I don't think they care really. We won't change anything. One thing is for sure. If Chelsea don't play Champions League again, no top manager will sign at Chelsea in this moment. It depends on how much you're willing to pay the manager in question. The money talks. Showtime, go ahead.
Yeah, I chuckled at the fact that somebody said boycott, and when we were supposed to boycott this horrendous takeover that the government of the UK government did on Roman Abramovich. That's when we should have boycotted. We would have never been in this situation having we protest against them trying to force Roman's hand to sell this club. We would never had this situation. So it is what it is. At the end of the day.
Bobby, you have anything else to say so we can call it a day? Really, I think the show has come to a natural end. I got to go take care of something.
Which Bobby?
Bobby Fairview, go ahead. You can go ahead.
All right, sorry. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, look, I mean, I just looking forward in terms of final comments. I worry about our next 2 games, and to the extent that this level of performance continues, where are we going to be on Thursday morning? What kind of conversation are we going to be having? And for sure, it's going to be Potter out, but it definitely will have to be broader than that by then. And can we get an elite manager to come in here in this current structure with the likes of Vavell, etc., and turn things around? I'm doubtful. So we have to continue. If Bowley is going to continue with his vision, I think he's got to stick to Potter. But I think we have to be prepared for some poor results in the next 2 games.
I would say I don't think it's fair, really, to say again we're not again that the application of the structure may be different. I know you feel like it's structured for them to have a yes manager. That's the chance the application is different. Vivel, he's done it for a while, and I think he's experienced enough to know when you're dealing with a top manager,
Coach,
don't expect them to
we
be
don't have another example.
Go ahead.
We don't have another example of where it works. I mean, I'm prepared to sit back and be patient and wait and see. The problem is that we're heading to relegation in the meanwhile. That's what bothers me. Okay. Now, if we were just hanging around 7th and we look competitive, maybe we could say, be patient, be patient. But the trajectory right now causes serious concern. And we cannot allow these guys to be dithering with a blueprint that nobody understands, that nobody is seeing work elsewhere. While this is happening, where will we be by the end of the season? That's my concern.
Wow. Just once again, I want to take a look at the Premier League table, and then we'll call it a day. Yes, guys, please like and subscribe if you're just entering. Again, also subscribe to the channel. Again, like the video if you haven't, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you so much for all the support. I appreciate that. What's next for Chelsea, please? Again, I read news that Chelsea owner has sacked medical staff. No, that has happened a long time ago. He's changed them, practically all of them. I don't think there's any left. That's the problem now. The players are, again, we're hearing that the players are complaining that they sacked them too quickly and all that. But as much as I'm not sure how truthful that is, I recall quite well. He revamped the medical department, if that's for lack of a better term that comes to mind to me. That's why again the new owners kicked out Tuchel and signed Porter. Tuchel said again, "Let me do my job," and that was not what the owners wanted to hear. I think that's a better way to say it. He wanted to do his job. He doesn't want to again get involved in all the bells and whistles involved again that define the day in day out activities at the club.
Yeah,
but again, they're not having it.
Potter's definitely a yes man. You know how he's a yes man? A manager who speaks to the owners 2 to 3 times a week just for updates and job security is a yes man. He has no concern.
If Porter if the owners don't involve Porter in signing of players or discussing about the teams, and then Porter the owners goes on and then makes some decision, the same fans will come and say, yeah, Lukaku is not the coach's signing. Lukaku, Kayavas is not the coach's signing, it's the board signing. So if Tuchel was to get involved with them and then tell them the kind of players that he wants, help them to win players. Like if you see the players that we lost, Tuchel doesn't want to talk with the players. He wants the board to do everything. Some players want to talk with the coaches.
We don't know. No. We don't know that he doesn't want to talk with them.
No, like when you see like Rafinha and Kunde and everything, like they didn't have like
we're pulled out of the Kunde deal. But go ahead with the Rafinha example. Go ahead.
Yeah, like sometimes the players want the coaches to talk with them and then let them know the project, discuss things with them. So if the owners don't discuss such things with the coaches, the same supporters, the same fans will come out and say, yeah, they don't let the coaches involved with them. You just can't satisfy these fans, because these fans always like, if you do this, they'll say do that. If you do that, they'll say do this.
Sir, Potter has no responsibility for transfers, so that's half of your argument gone. That's Vivel's job. Why are they talking to him 2-3 times a week? It can't be about transfers.
It doesn't make sense.
He will outline what he wants, right? But that's the other.
Do you know we are in transfer season, right?
2 to 3 times a week.
But do you know we are in transfer season, right?
If anybody,
and it's a lot
of course.
Hakim, let me just say this. If anybody, the owner shouldn't be talking to him about transfers. They should be talking to Vivel, and Vivel should be talking to him.
Precisely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Them talking to him directly has to do with him feeling the pressure. It has to do the rumors that he's under pressure. He's gonna get sacked. Like
this is the same thing that I say.
He wants to be.
This is the same thing that I'm saying. That Todd Bowley was also having a position in the club before Vivel. Since when did Vivel came to Chelsea? Less than a month.
But that's a problem.
So I don't understand what
problem.
Yeah, I don't understand. So I don't understand what you guys are saying.
All right, here's the thing. I think we have to end because I have to go take care of something. But let me again respect those in the chat. Chelsea launch medical. Yeah, I've seen that. Manager job is to train the players, get the best out of the players. It doesn't look like it's working, even if it's trying. It doesn't look like it's working. What's the news on Zakaria? I'm not sure the severity of that injury. We haven't heard anything. No update yet. If Potter doesn't find a solution, Chelsea are going to the Champions. You mean Championship, right? Okay, Championship League. Yeah, okay. I absolutely, Surule, my brother says, I absolutely disagree with the panelists' claim sacking Potter is not the best solution. I say that right now. Sacking him right now isn't the best solution, but if things don't turn around, then we'll have no option than to sack him. I blame Todd for not having, again, a plan in the first place. It doesn't really look like this one. Todd should have fixed the midfield before. That's not his job, if we're being honest. Please like and subscribe, guys, if you just entered. So again, and also like and subscribe to the channel. I'm tired, really. I have to be honest. Let's see what we have here. Again, now is not the moment to change things. Yeah, let me just stop it at that one. I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, get this contribution here from Liam Lane, who says, in a normal situation, you wouldn't start Felix, but there is nothing normal about the trouble we have. I guess that's a solid argument as to why we have to start him. And had we won, yeah, and that didn't happen, I won't bring back the argument that I wouldn't have started him because he did quite well. We played differently. It seemed that, again, you can say he had that spark that trickled down to all the players on the pitch. And the moment again he got crowded, everything turned towards. So I want to say thank you to the panelists, the two Bobbies, Bobby Fairview, Bobby Smoky Signal, Hakeem, and my brother Showtime, and everyone that's in the chat. Liam Lane, the captain of the house. I appreciate all the support, brother. And AD Love for Blue, who was here. Thank you. And to you again, Potter Ralph. Thank you so much. To Red Star FC, everyone else. I'm going to say the Prince. I want to say thank you. See you guys tomorrow for another Blue Money Show. God bless us all, and bye.